everyone. Welcome to Real Talk, Real Solutions, where authentic talk takes place with a biblical worldview. So today we are having a very special live today. Tonight it's still morning time here, or not morning, but in the early afternoon, and it's in the nighttime to my other panelists. But um, today's live is going to be on, and this is going to be a part one of many of these panel discussions. So we want you all to be very interactive and leave comments and all of it. But this live will be on relationships. We're going to be chatting relationships. So any questions that you have on relationships, we want you to answer them. And so with that, with no further delay, I am going to bring on each and every person who is part of the panel. Hello, guys. Hello, ladies.
Hi,
Everyone.
Diane. Hi,
Welcome.
everyone.
Oh, I forgot to bring on Chris. Did I? Or did I remove him? Okay, there you go. Hello. So can you introduce yourself? Each one. You can just introduce yourself. Starting Chris.
Hey everybody, I'm Chris. I am one of Latanya's mods, and I also mod for Shireen as well for At the Heart of Conversation. And I also have my own YouTube channel. It is Honest Conversations with Chris. Please like, share, subscribe to all of our channels. We're here to help each other, and that's what I'm here to do. I offer my few 2 cents on this topic. So enjoy, everyone.
Thank you, Chris. Rita.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this conversation. My name is Rita. It's your match Kuneye, and I'm really excited to be here. And so I'm looking forward to having a great time with all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. And I want to make sure I say your name correctly. Is it off on? How do you?
Off young.
Off beyond. Oh, I was almost off beyond. That is very pretty. Can you
Very
introduce?
close.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Ofyong Ekpeyong. I've worked in the public health space for 9 years now, and I've worked closely with young people to improve their leadership skills and also to identify healthy and unhealthy relationships. I'm currently in Canada, and I'm here to provide my 2 cents, just like Chris said. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And we have Pastor Well. Welcome, sir.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good
Hi,
evening.
good evening.
Hello.
Good
Yes.
evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. Can you introduce yourself, Pastor Well? Okay, we'll go to you, Mac Pearson. Mute. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. You're mute. We can't hear you. Okay, so our brother will have to join us back. There's just a little bit of technical issue. So we are the expert that I would say, which I think actually all of us can. Oh, okay. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Mark Fasen. I'm a Nigerian. I'm in Nigeria. And I'm a published author. I write books and I create content on relationship and dating also. I'm also a farmer and also a crypto enthusiast and as well a forest trader. That's what I do.
Okay. Thank you so much, Brother McPherson. Pastor Wealth, are you able to speak now a little bit more? Okay, so with that said, so this live is us chatting up relationships, single, whether you're a couple, and we want to dive into this discussion. We did have questions that were sent in, and also you who are watching, please put, if you have a question, please put in the comment section your question. You can put a Q and the letter Q, and then we will highlight it and we will answer it on live. And as well as us who are a part of the panel, we have a question. We can as well. Hi, Rita. We can also, we have our questions as well. So with that being said, McPherson, I want to kind of turn it over to you. You've been, you really, this is your field. So do we want to get started with some of the questions that came in, that was sent in?
Okay.
Okay. So one of the questions was, and this is for all of us to chime in, please. What are your deal breakers in a relationship? And so we can come from share our experience or just maybe giving pointers maybe to someone else, to everyone. But this was a question. What are your deal breakers in a relationship?
So when you say deal breaker, what do you mean?
This is what I think it means. What I think it means, deal breakers, meaning there are some things that you're like, okay, I can go with that. I can, like let's say for an example, like a deal breaker could be if you have, like, let's say if a person has a child, you might say, I can deal with one, but I can't deal with more than two, and so that could be a deal breaker for some. It could be I don't know, I'm thinking maybe the person, they want, I don't know, I mean that's kind of one that I'm thinking. It's like I can kind of deal with this, but I can't deal with that.
Okay, I think I get you now. First of all, thank you very much for the invite and the ability to be here tonight. The question, if I get it right, is what my deal breaker is as it relates to relationship and dating. But notwithstanding, I think it will be, first of all, noteworthy for us to understand that when it comes to relationship, it is not about, it is, when we are talking to an audience, it has nothing, it is not about a personal, it's not personal. We have to concentrate on what works as it regards everybody. Because my deal breaker might not be your deal breaker, might not be the next person deal breaker, just like that. That means what I accept might not be what the next person accepts. So it differs. As our faces differ, so also our desires and what we can put up with, what we can't put up with, so also the difference. So if we are talking about deal breaker, I think first of all, if we are looking at it in a general theme, we need to understand that as far as men are concerned, there are things that are, how should I put it, that are basic and stands true for all men. For example, it is true that a man with 90% say yes, 90% say yes to a lady who has not gotten married for the first time, before and who doesn't have a child than saying yes to a lady who is divorced or who is a widow and has children. I hope you get what I'm saying. So when it comes to deal breakers, we must understand that there's a place where we draw the line. There is something that all men looks for in a lady when it comes to, oh, this is the lady I want to get married to. This is the lady I don't want to get married to. And the first things first is this. It is harder to make a choice to be with somebody that already either has a child or already has been married before. Why do men lay back when it comes to these two aspects? It is because any woman who has given birth before or any woman who has gotten married before always comes with baggages. And it takes a high level of maturity and a high level of that woman knowing herself or the man knowing herself to be able to deal with the baggages that comes from previous relationship, previous marriage, and then having children dragged along. This is it. If you ask 90% of the women out there, this is why men don't necessarily or wholeheartedly settle for women who already has baggages. This is why. If you ask 99% of the women, who would you prioritize? The guy you are with now that is not your baby father, or the baby or the child that you have? Ask any mother, they will tell you, I'll put my child first. Ask any mother who gave birth, who already has a child and then is coming into a new relationship. They will tell you, I'll put my child first. So what you are indirectly saying is, if I marry a single lady who has not given birth, she's going to prioritize me above all else because she doesn't have baggage. But for somebody who has one, she's going to forever, and anything she does, she's going to prioritize the kid first. So you see why when I'm speaking about deal breaker, when it comes to men in general, we understand what these things they mean. And then you see some men go ahead to tell you, I can't raise another man's child, because they understand that when the push comes to shove, and when it comes to it, that child is still another man's child. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that, McPherson. So does anyone else have their input?
I definitely agree with what McPherson said. Yeah, because that's always like, I can only speak for me. For me, seeing her with carrying somebody else's kid, it's her kid. But all that does is tell me, hey, you've been with someone else. That's all I'm going to be thinking about. That's a primary thing I'm going to be thinking about. Like, that's not my kid. Doesn't mean I won't love her any less, but part of me, the Bible says we shouldn't be jealous, but I'm going to be feeling some kind of way about it by seeing that. But also to his point too, the deal breaker will be something different because it's subjective from person to person. One part, you got some guys, they don't care about being with a woman that has multiple kids. That doesn't bother them because I guess they're secure in their masculinity, quote unquote. I would say, you also want to be involved with somebody that's not believing in the same thing, being unequally yoked to that person. And I had spoke to a situation. I was involved with someone. Now, yes, she was attractive and all that, but for me, it has to be more than just attraction because beauty fades and it fades quick. But if you don't have a relationship with Christ either, it ain't going to work. Because the longer I'm with you, the more chance there is that if I'm not strong in my faith and my foundation, I'm going to end up following you. And as men, we were created to be the leaders, the leaders of the home, to teach and preach and all of that. And the woman's supposed to follow, be the helpmeet and follow us. But some men are, they don't have that either because they've come up in broken homes too. And sometimes a woman can have that Jezebel spirit, and then she start pulling the man away, and he start going with her, and then everything. I'm looking at the comment section. I just laughed for a second, but yeah, I would say two things for me: being unequally yoked and a woman being a nag. Can't stand it. I think most men would say they don't want a woman that nags because life is already hard. You get up, you go to work, you provide for your family as best as you can. But then you got to come home to an unhappy woman to remind you, hey, the home's not clean or whatever. And then I'm like, well, that's going to make me want to do. And that's what makes what most men want to do is just get up and leave. Like, I don't work all day. I ain't coming home to this because I can't even have no peace here. I'm getting up. I'm going to flee before something else happens. So I'm going to get up and leave. I can't really speak to that to a woman right now, but my dad does that to me. Like, he does just certain things, but he's sick though. But he does certain things that's like, all right, this is starting to aggravate me. Let me get up and leave and maintain my peace. Because the Bible tells us to flee from that. He gave us a way out. So that's my that would be my 2 cents on the matter. And 2% has a question. You're muted, Latanya. You gotta take yourself off mute.
I know. Yeah, sorry. Thank you so much for what you just said. And let's see what 2%.
Okay, I wanted to also say something before you go to the next question.
Oh, okay.
If you have time.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
so, all right, thank you, Mark and Chris. I like that you started by saying that it could be relative, deal breakers could be relative. That's very true. However, even though there are some things that people will take and people will not take, it goes both ways. So it's not just okay, the woman has baggage. Sometimes too, the women also have deal breakers, like, okay, if the man already has a child, I'm not ready to marry the man. So I just want to say that it can go both ways, not just from the man's side. However, I also want us to note that people make mistakes in life. Let's not take that fact away out of people's circumstances. People make mistakes in life and they realize along the line, and they get to go through life in a better shape from their past experience. So that shouldn't exclude that category of people that, okay, because you've had baggages, so you don't have the chance to have a better life. I've seen lots of people that have baggages from previous relationships, they later have good life. So that's why I said I like when you say it's relative. It could mean a wide variety of things. It's like a spectrum. Do you understand? So I also know people that didn't have baggages and it never worked. So it's really relative. I think overall we should just allow the Holy Spirit lead us into what kind of relationship we get into in general. Thank you.
Quickly, let me say, can I say something? Sorry, can I say something?
Is that you, McPherson?
Yeah, it's me. I want to say something in line with what you just said.
You're frozen, but okay, now you can go.
Am I breaking up?
We can hear you,
bit.
even though your screen is frozen, but we can hear you.
We can hear you.
But can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
we can.
Okay, let me say this. You know, it is wrong to think that what applies to a woman applies to a man. Sorry, let me quickly say this. I know it's not fair, but it's true. And she said it goes both ways. It doesn't. No this and no peace. It doesn't go both ways. Let me explain. Now, first of all, you need to realize one thing, which is it is the man that goes out. It is the man that conquers, and it is the woman that accepts being conquered. It is the man that goes out, because if we are talking about Bible concepts, we realize that it is the man that approaches or goes out to give his manifesto, and then the woman accepts that manifesto. Now, this is it. If that is true, it therefore means that the man, no matter how many children he has, right, it doesn't reduce his value. Why? Because he is the one that is going out to seek, to get. If it comes to Lady A and Lady A says no, he goes to Lady B, he goes to Lady C. The reason is different for a woman is because you are the one that is being approached. You are the one that they are coming to. The man is the buyer, you are the seller. So the seller is at the mercy of the buyer. You are looking for people to buy. So when people come, they look at your baggages and say, I don't want this, I don't want that. But for a man, and another thing we need to understand is if a man has a kid, it doesn't depreciate his value. It doesn't. Except that man cannot provide for that kid, but it doesn't depreciate his market value. But for a lady, having a kid is different. But notwithstanding, we never said that if you have a kid, it doesn't mean you won't have a good life. We never said that. Neither did I say that if you have neither did I say that there people don't make mistakes. People actually make mistakes, and they shouldn't be defined by those mistakes. But notwithstanding, we must understand that when it comes to women must be careful as to what baggages they carry, because it will tell if they will meet the right suitor, or if they will meet the high valued man or the person that they are looking out to get. So that is what I'm trying to point out. So you can't say a man having a kid is the same thing as a woman having a kid. Why? Because if I have a kid, I'm the one to take responsibility of that kid. If you have a kid, when I get married to you, you are not going to come and take responsibility financially, emotionally, and otherwise of my kid. I am going to provide the direction and everything for my kid, including you. But if you have one, I am going to do that. I am going to provide financially for that kid. So it goes both ways. That's why when you see when men comes across a lady that has a kid, they frown at it. Why? Because they know what it takes to take care of a lady and then the kid. So that is it. It's not the same thing. It can't be the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that. Thank you. This is spicy. No, this is good. Thank you. Well, let me see. Rita, would you like to weigh in on that question?
Okay. It's quite an interesting conversation, but I think I'm going to stand on the notion that it's actually relative. Okay, so I understand the angle Mark is coming from, and I understand what everybody else has said, but then it still stands on individual principles, your belief and your values, because in as much as it is different for both the men and the women, I think some women wouldn't want to be with a partner that already has a kid, because yes, Mark mentioned in providing financially, emotionally. The woman too is going to provide emotionally to that kid that is coming in. So now the relationship with which the man has with the kid is she now needs to find a home place with that kid. So it might take a while for her. It's not exactly as direct or as easy as you might think. It's a lot to train a child. I mean, it's a lot to just boom, all of a sudden you're having like a teenager, especially if it's a teenager, it's even worse. So, but that's not where I'm going to speak on. I'm just going to say that for deal breakers, it depends on your principles. Does my value match with the value of this lady I'm working with, I want to be a partner with? Does my principle align with hers? What are our values? Do we align? Spiritually, are we on the same level? Is she a Christian as I am? Or I don't mind her faith? Those are the questions you should ask. And if those things are deal breakers to you, then you should leave. Because I've heard my friends say things like, okay, I don't care about his religion, but is he lying? No, that's a deal breaker. Is he cheating? That's a deal breaker. So it's all different for everybody. And once you're this self-aware about things you really can't tolerate in your relationship, then you can tag those things as deal breakers. So I think that is what I'm going to contribute here. Thank you.
Sorry.
You're
Okay.
muted. Okay.
Sorry. Thank you so much, Rita, for your input. Pastor Wealth, do you have anything you would like to contribute?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Sorry, I've been battling with my network, so I have to go back and come back in. My name is Webb. I am an architect, a minister of the gospel. I'll just say that about myself for now. Sorry, I came a bit very late. I was, like I said, I was dealing with my network over here. Okay, regarding that of, I think the question is, what's the deal breaker for me, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay. I think if I want to answer generally, I would say it varies from person to person. What may be a deal breaker for me may not necessarily be for the other person. And deal breaker always goes along our core value. What do you value? What is your core value? What is your belief? What are those things? What are those principles that you will not be willing to compromise? So it varies from person to person. Some people value honesty more than anything else, and if you compromise that, you don't get a second chance. So it varies from person to person. For me, I think I would say I belong to the class of those people. I like honesty. I like you coming forward to tell me, okay, this is how it happened, and this is why it happened, than telling me a part of the story, and later I get to find out. I may forgive, but it may take a long time for me to actually just overlook it. So for me, I think I value honesty a lot, and I also believe in second chances because we are human. We tend to make mistakes. But I think sometimes I side things. When people do things, I side like, was this really necessary? Or this lie or this omission, was it really necessary? Because I also try to put myself in the person's shoe. Why? And try to understand what the person did, what he or she did. So that's just for me. But from person to person, it's different. And again, regarding the last part that Mafasin and Sister Rita was talking about, having a child. I think from a man perspective, Mafasin spoke from man's perspective, and I believe our sister spoke from a lady's perspective. Generally, most men will not want to pick up the responsibility of catering for another child because the man will lose. If, God forbid, the relationship does not work out, the man has a lot to lose more than the lady. Because if a man decides to take up the responsibility of getting married to a lady that already has a child, maybe one or two, or depends on the number. Now, the man is expected to be there, like he said, financially, emotionally, and otherwise. He has to play the role of a father for that child. Now, God forbid the divorce happens or they separate. The man cannot lay claim to that child. So the man is going to lose twice. He's going to lose the lady and also going to lose that child. So there's a lot of things that people consider when you want to take up a relationship with someone who already has a child. Now, I'm not saying having a child is a death sentence. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that when you weigh your option, most men will want to go for someone who doesn't have a child already. But there are also ladies that already have children. Because again, when we talk about having children, we also must also look at it. How did that child come about? Is he as a result of, let's say, the person was violated? That's one. Is he as a result of maybe the person was married before, but the relationship was toxic? Because when we just say single mother, or how we call them, sometimes we don't go in detail to say, because not all single mothers are single mothers by choice.
Yeah.
Some of them, they were in a terrible circumstances that contributed to them be where they are today. But trying to just paint everybody with one brush is wrong. So you must understand. But there are also some ladies who they see it as sport. They just want to have a kid with this guy, have a kid with this guy, have a kid with, especially when you are in a country where there is benefit that comes with being a single mother. So these are things that you should look at for before you sign it to say, oh no, because when sometimes people say, oh no, it doesn't matter whether she's a single mother, you need to know how she got there. Because if someone has had a kid from, let's say she has 4 children for 4 different men, that tells a lot about her character. That tells a lot about her kind of person. So you can't tell me that you were the only person that was right. You went through 4 men having kids with them, and none of them was willing to keep you. So these are things that we should look at. So not just saying a single mother. No, you have to look at the entire situation. How did these children come about? What was responsible? Is it as a result of maybe the person was married before and the spouse died? That's also one. Is it because maybe the person was in a toxic relationship, or was the person violated that resulted into that child? So these are things. And again, when you understand the scope of how that child came about, then it makes you gracious towards that person. Maybe the person was violated. Okay, the person was, even with that, the person was willing to keep a child. I think that's someone that is worth considering. Unlike someone who was just going about sport and having children here and there. So it tells a lot about the person's character. It tells about a lot about the person's self-control. So I'll just stop there for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So yeah, I think it's better if I leave my mic open for the most part, so I won't have to be. Yeah, I want to say, wow. So I want to kind of just weigh in a little bit. I really like what each and every person, what they have said, because I believe it brings authenticity to the question that was answered. But I really like the balance that Pastor Wealth put to it, because that is so true. We can be so quick to like say, oh, a person that has just using that for an example, a person that has children, they just automatically X them off. And it's like, wait, because it could be a person that maybe they have children, you don't know the whole circumstances, and then somebody who maybe don't have any or have one, and you don't even know the circumstances. Like Pastor, I want to just, expand a little bit. Like Pastor Wealth mentioned, it's a difference between a lady with 4 children by 4 different men and a lady with 4 children by 1 man. There is a difference, and so looking at that, it's like, okay, the woman with 4 different children, daddies, that's a whole another, right there. But then a lady who maybe has 4 by one man, you got to look at, okay, what was the circumstances with that? Maybe, she became a widow. Maybe, like Pastor Wells said, she was in a toxic, relationship. And so she, and I know of individuals where this was the case. I just interviewed a young lady yesterday on the channel, and she was married before, because we have some people that's like, oh, you've been married before, don't and they just automatically just have this wand, and they just brush everybody the same. But she was actually in a very toxic, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially. And you have to go back and listen to her testimony, and it was really bad. And so she got out of that. And this young lady is married again to this day to a wonderful, wonderful man, of God. And so, but if he had that attitude, oh, she's been married before, forget it, and he's never been married, then he would be missing out. So I have testimonies on that side too. You have to look further and not just use that quote, how we can be, nope, she's been married before, got children, never mind, so I just wanted to mention that. And thank you so much, Pastor Well, for bringing that balance there. I think this is going to be so helpful. And I think it's going to be freeing for people, because some people feel like, well, I fall into that category, so I guess I'm not worthy. I'm not, because we say that. And that's farthest from the case. Sister, you are worthy. It's not, you are. No, don't no. And a lot of this goes down to people preference. And if that's your preference, that's your preference. Preference doesn't equal to value. It's just your preference. And so that was a good question. I don't know if anyone, let's go into the chat and see if there are some questions, because wow.
2% had a question, but I just expound while you're going to her question, just what you said on that. Preferences can change too, like people's mindsets. And like I can say for me, I've been with women that have been married before. They told me, it didn't make me run away. It's just like, prior to being with them, yeah, I used to have a specific viewpoint. Like maybe I might not want to be involved with someone that was married. And, you have your own reasons for that. Like me, I've always been a quiet, observant person. I observe many relationships, especially within my own family. Like, like another example, you have people that said, oh, you have a lot of people that had children out of wedlock. Yes, the Bible speaks about that. But here I am, I'm a child of that. My parents had me out of that before they got married. So I'm like, what am I supposed to just throw you guys away because y'all did? We all make mistakes. God knew what we were going to do way before we even did what we wanted to do. Oh, real quick, 2% wants to come on.
Oh, she does. Okay.
Yeah, she just asked if she could.
Oh, yes, she can. Let me send her the link.
Yeah, so me personally, now, because of different feelings I've been feeling and because of all these other things that's happened in my life, I'm not just going to throw a person to the side because they've been married before. Now, I want to know what happened with, I want to know what happened with the marriage. I want to know if you want to say, like, I'm not going to push and pry, like I give people time to work up to that. Because some people, you don't know what that person's going through, just like you said. But I will give that person an opportunity to explain. I'll be patient enough for you to do that. Because that doesn't mean it's wrong. Oh, because you had children with somebody else. Somewhere along the way, things fell apart. Then I found you at a different time. It's all good, though, because we're together now. But it should just be about us, no one else after that. But that's just my 2 cents. What's up, 2%?
No, I'm sitting up here battling with the.
Goodness, sis.
I'm sorry, I'm sitting up here battling with my computer trying to get that echo off of there, but I think I got it.
So,
okay.
2%, welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. So you.
Hi.
Is she?
I felt it was easier for me to come on and to say what I said than for me typing because I was messing up down there. But before we all got to the point we are now, what I was saying was, if the woman is a working woman too, how are you going to tell her she got to do everything that a woman you expect a woman to do? Okay, so take me. I used to get up at 4 a.m. to start my day, right? Okay, I had to be at work at 11. And I had to get out the house at a certain time because if I missed my bus, I was late for work. And it took me 2 hours to get to work. So I go to work, I get off at 7. 7:30. Takes me 2.5 hours to get home. And then I come home. Okay, now this is before I gave my life to Christ. So I'm telling you, a sinner's, way of what happened with me. So when I got home, it would be because if I missed the 9 o'clock bus, now this is all going together. If I missed the 9 o'clock bus, I didn't make it home until about 10:30. So I go into the house and my son's father. Okay, so we still talking about a sinful relationship, but it can happen in a Christ-centered relationship too. So if I come home and my son's father, who worked for himself and he had all the time in the world, I come home and the first thing you tell me when I walk through the door is that you're hungry. So now, mind you, it's 10:30ish. I gotta go to bed soon. So you're gonna tell me I gotta do the woman thing? Can you help me? Because you're at home. You can work when you want to. You have your own hours. Can you like do the dishes for me? Or I used to do things. We ate leftovers a lot, and so it's like it has to be some kind of boundary. Women, okay, now today's woman, we're not like the women of the past. They're very rare. You can go and say to your wife, she ain't got to work. You're gonna stay at home. You're gonna be taking care of the children, and you're the wife. I can understand. You should come home to a clean house, your dishes washed, the kids fed, your husband's meal together. But you can't tell a woman like that when she worked just as long as you. How about we do a little cooperation? Let's like if you have time to do this, then I have my time to do that. So that's what I was saying. It depends on your situation. If you have a wife, you can tell her she can stay at home. Then yeah, she needs to be doing all that. She should not be sitting around and having a dirty house. No, it shouldn't be. But if your wife worked just as long as you, hello?
Nobody said nothing 2%. Go ahead, sis.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, it depends on the situation. Because nowadays it's very rare that people can have a one income home unless he's making really good money, and so, we can't say that a woman is lazy because her house is dirty, because she got some dishes in the sink, or maybe the food wasn't ready. Okay, look at the situation. Where are you both at? She coming home, whatever time. You coming home maybe right at the same time with her. How about, everybody get together to lighten the load and help each other out. So I don't know what the other one, because I had 2 comments. I have to go back to the room to see what the other one was. But it depends, because if I'm married to a man and I'm sitting at home, why is everything dirty? It can't be that way. It has to be that woman, even if she's working part-time, okay, I can see part-time, 4 to 5 hours, she can come home and do that. But if you're working like 8 to 10, 8, 9, whatever hours as much as him, it can't without help. It's got to be some kind of cooperation with help. Trash. So I'm gonna go back to the chat room.
Hey, 2%.
Hello.
Everybody said, "Tell you hello, Mom."
2% was the other question you had. No matter if the woman has children, what kind of way is that? It? Oh, because I got it right here in front of my face.
Okay. I had to learn this one. No matter if the woman has 4 children by one man, 4 children by 4 different men, and her husband's still alive, you go with her, then now you're an adulterer too. Okay, you done married a woman who's still married to another man, but she got 4 or 5. Like Jesus says, which one is your husband? There, she asked him. She got many husbands. So it's like, it's crazy. It's almost like, so what? You gonna go kill your husband so you can be single? Now you jacked up. So I mean, I think men and women, We got to look at what's going on. If that man's wife is still alive, no matter if he divorced her, you're not supposed to be doing that. Number one, if you're a person of, if you're a Christian, you're not supposed to be divorcing your wife. That's why the wedding vows say, "To death do you part." Okay, I had to learn this stuff. It's like, and I went through a lot of bad stuff by not knowing what God's word said. But no matter if that husband or that wife is still alive and you think you can go marry her, you are now in adultery, because under God, we still married.
So are you saying that marriage is a life sentence?
It's a life. To death do you part. Somebody got to die before you can move on.
That means no matter the circumstances that is actually going on in the marriage, abuse notwithstanding, you're supposed to remain.
But why did that got to be abuse?
Definitely. I think if you look at statistics, you understand. I've seen pastors who own a life to their wives.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen pastors, and I can mention churches. I think one happened in Dallas. Is it Dallas? I think one happened in Dallas. What happened was the pastor allowed his wife to dress up in the morning, going to work. He followed her and then shot her on the way, wanting to cover it up as though she was mugged. But later on, they traced it back to him that he was the one that followed the wife and killed her on the way. So we've seen this happen, and it happens in Christian homes. Abuse exists. So are you saying that marriage is a life sentence till death do you part, or till the man kills you or the woman kills you?
Well,
is that what you're saying?
What I know what the word says, it was not for a man and woman to be. That's why he says when you get married, your family comes second. You are to leave them and you guys are to become one. When you went and walked down that aisle, what was the vow you claimed? You claimed till death do us part. So, and why does it always have to be that the relationship is abusive? What if you're just tired of her? What if she just tired of you? I mean, you can go and leave because he ain't giving you what you need or what you think you need, and he can do the same thing. But go ahead and go on out and find you another woman who's giving you what you feel you need. You're still married to the one who ain't gave you what you think you need, what you wanted, I should say. You're still her husband. You got divorced, like a person gets divorced under the laws of man. Okay, if God sees you two as husband and wife, he said, what God has put together, let no man put asunder. So if she leaves you because she wasn't happy with you and go and find her another man, that's still your wife. You only divorced by paper. You're not divorced by God. So that's my point.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Can I just jump in? Yes.
Okay, Mapa, you want to weigh in first?
I want to weigh in on the first issue she raised before I'll come to this, so that we don't sweep it under the carpet.
Okay.
The first issue she raised about working, and then the man working, and then when she gets home late, the man is expecting her to still go into the kitchen to cook. And I think the thing is that women need to understand that it is wrong for you to only look for a provider in a man. You also look for a supporter in that man. Because if you marry a man that is a provider and also a supporter, because women don't understand that a man sees your working or you working as support. Men see it like that. They see it as support. So if you coming to the house, but you women, you see doing chores and other stuff as support. We don't see it like that. But the issue now is he sees his role as a provider. He goes out to work. So whatever he brings, he also believes that you're supposed to support him in your own little way by also going out to work. So what do you do when you are dating a guy? You need to find out if that guy is also a supporter. I met a lady years ago. This lady came to me and was complaining. What happened? She was heavy, as in she was pregnant, and the man was expecting, she was pregnant and she works, and the man still expects her to do all the chores. The man will be at home, he won't touch anything, he won't do anything. If he wants to drink water, he will call the woman from the room to come and serve him. It was that bad. The woman was losing it, and it got to an extent she had to come to me to talk to me because she lost the child that she was carrying in her womb because of the harshness of the home. So what I'm saying is this: when you are dating a guy, first, ladies need to understand, when you are dating him, let's say you are going to see him, he puts together his laundry when he knows you are coming for you to come and do as his servant. Number two, when you get there, you start what you can't finish. You clean the house, you do all the chores, you do everything. Why? Because you are not in the house yet. You just want to get in. So when you continue like that, and when you enter into the house, you are still going to continue it. So don't just start what you can't finish. If you are all about doing everything as it regards the house before the marriage, you are still going to continue it after. But if you see in him that he's somebody that can't even cook, he does not even cook his meal, he cannot even do anything. Before marriage, you notice that. You entered into the marriage and you thought that when you close late, he's going to go into the kitchen and cook. You are dreaming. He won't, because it's not in him too. A married man said to his wife, he said, "It's not my duty to cook. I will not cook," is a taboo. So this is him. This is what he's used to. So what a lady should do is, as you are looking for a provider, also look for a supporter in that man. Cooking is not his duty. But when you look for a supporter, somebody that supports, he understands that my wife is overworked. She has been somewhere all day, and it's because of the family. I need to step in when it matters. So when you look for a supporter, it's somebody that steps in when it matters. That way, he saves you from being overstressed and then being overworked. I think that's it. That's what I have to contribute to the first issue you raised. Thank you. As pertaining to the second issue, we are going to have an issue about that, because I think Pastor Wet want to talk first. Then after Pastor Wet, I think we are going to have issue about marriage being a life sentence, whether you are being abused or you are not being abused. So I think Pastor Wet has something to say first, and then I'll come back.
I wanted to step in really quick on that one, and thank you, Brother McPherson, and thank you also 2%. Yes, it was good you came on to explain what you were saying so we could all hear it. And I want all of us to be able to, for Miss Rita and Miss Afian, okay, yeah, as well. I just wanted to say this because we could really be on that particular topic, and it could go down a certain role because. And I'll just say this, and then if we can agree to, if Pastor Wealth want to weigh in, but I don't really want to go to, because I want to go on to some of the other questions so we can all weigh in. We know we're not going to get everything in, so this is going to be a part 2 for sure. But I wanted to say, that's why it's so important that a lot of times the issues we have is with the interpretation of scripture. And so, yes, I think everybody would agree that marriage, you go into marriage and it's supposed to be for life. But also, I look at like the thing of like, if you divorce your spouse without biblical grounds, does that mean that if the person goes and they marry someone else that they're in, some people call it perpetual adultery or perpetual sin? Well, then I'm like, okay, what does the Bible say about this? Because the Bible trumps what we may think, it doesn't seem to line up. So I just want to give one situation that helped me. One only, it's many, but helped me with this. So we know Jesus when he was at the well, and there was a woman that came, and he asked, for a drink of water, and he read this woman. He said, "Go and get your husband," and she said, "Gosh, I'm drawing a blank, but I want to say she said, I don't have a husband." Or something to that nature. And then what did he say next?
He said, "No, you have many." He said, "You have something like you have many," or something like that.
So you have had 5 husbands. So the Savior Yeshua, he acknowledged 5 husbands. He didn't say, yeah, you're in adultery. For he acknowledged 5 individual husbands. And then he said, the one that you're with now is not your husband. So we have to look at that. Yes, I know there's a teaching out there that says, oh, if you get, if the marriage ended, and we know, yes, God hates divorce, but he also gave Moses and said, because of the hardening of your heart, I permitted Moses to give you this written decree, how that if you commit adultery, there is abandonment, and there's also if the person, if they just leave, but this is what I'll say, that's why I say that can really get into something very longer, but I want us to be able to be fair to everyone else, and then we have like more questions.
Lord, I
So
pray I remember. My memory is not the best. I need to write that down.
write that down. Write that down so you won't. So I just want to be fair for everyone. If that's okay, if we can kind of move on to the other question and put like a pin there for that one. Is everybody okay with that? That we can?
Yes.
Can we at least take it up? Okay, sorry.
Yes. So I think the
No, it's fine. Let the other ladies also speak. I think the other 2 ladies have been quiet.
Well, this kind of all goes in with the deal breaker, and I think so that's how this question, we're still like on 1. So I think we want to move on to the second questions. Is that okay for everyone?
What I'm saying is this very question that you're passing is very important. So you can take it to the part 2 if possible.
Okay. Yes. Let's do that. Yes. So I'm going to go to the second one. This second question that someone asks, how do you define love and commitment? How do you define love and commitment? So, ladies first. So, Afian, can you?
Thanks, Tanya.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I'm trying to put everything in my head. So, in my own definition, I want to say that love is not whatever we think is love is not enough. Love could be probably feelings and all of that. It's not enough to keep a relationship. I think commitment has a lot more to do with, keeping people together. For example, God is love, right? He loves us and he gave his only begotten son. Now, we as humans, he expects us to also love one another, just like Christ loves, the church. However, because we also have human factor in us, we have things that will probably deter us. For example, you meet a man, he does so well, he's been an amazing partner at the beginning, you claim you love him and all of that, you profess your love, and at some point things start going down the line and you just feel that it doesn't feel the same way anymore, and all of that. But what is that thing that will keep you in that relationship or in that partnership? It will be your commitment to that person. Like whether it's good or bad, I'm committed to be with you. There's one testimony I heard many years ago, and this woman was severely sick that for a long time, I think for like 3 years, and they had to feed her through tubes and all of that. And one thing struck when they were giving that testimony, the man stood by her. He was beating her, he was doing so much. And I know that some people wouldn't even get to that level and they'll be like, I'm done, I'm exhausted. Life is full of challenges. What is that thing that will keep you put, that will say, no matter what comes, I'm going to be there? Well, maybe another definition of true love for me would be commitment to that person, regardless of whatever you're going through. I would like to put it that way. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sis. You know, it makes me think love covers a multitude of sins when you mention that, and someone even said that in the chat. So, okay, we will go to Brother Chris.
Oh, hold on. Oh, me? All right, hold on. So again, the question was love and the devotion, right?
How do you define love and commitment?
Oh, love and commitment.
Yes, that was a
Well,
question someone submitted.
okay. Well, okay. First, before I get to that, I'm going to read the definition because I have it right here on my phone. Now, you got the world's definition and you got the biblical definition. The world's definition of love as a noun, the first one is an intense feeling of deep affection. And as a verb, is feel deep affection for someone. Now, the biblical version, the biblical definition as it's defined would be, it defines love as a way of relating to others and a selfless act of putting others before oneself. So, then commitment, I wasn't even ready yet because I was still trying to put together what I was going to say about it. But
do you want us to come back to you?
Yeah, come right back to me. Give me a few more minutes.
Okay, Brother McPherson.
Okay, for me, love and commitment. Well, I'd like to weigh in on commitment more than I do love, and then I'll come back to love. I think commitment is the desire to have and to hold someone. Commitment is the desire and the responsibility. Yes, it's more than a desire. It's a responsibility to have and to hold a particular person. That is shutting your eyes to every other and to whatever and ever is outside that person. So the only person you see is that person, no other. So that is in a nutshell is commitment. But love is another thing because it is not a feeling. Definitely love is not a feeling. Because if it is a feeling, that means it is nothing different. It's just an emotion. An emotion changes. But love is something deeper. The reason I'm saying it's deeper is because for God to be love, feelings change, emotions change, but love is not supposed to. I said supposed to because if you check what is in existence in the Bible, you discover that the Bible said that God is love. And for God so loved the world. And this love started even while we were yet sinners. He loved us and he died for us. That means it has nothing to do with whether you did the right thing or you did the wrong thing or you didn't do anything at all. Now, so what is love? Does love start immediately you see somebody, a lady that does the right thing, wears the right thing, says the right thing, or is that what love is all about? I met a lady who told me that, no, a guy who said to me that there was a lady he wanted to marry. That the lady came to him one day and asked him, why do you want to marry me? And then the guy said, because I love you. And then she asked him and said, why do you love me? He said, in his mind, he started listing, you are this, you are that. He said he get broke up with him the next day. And he said that was his first time he realized that he wasn't supposed to have a reason. That he wasn't supposed to have a reason. He said he get broke. He said when he asked the girl for closure, the girl said to him, everything you said now, that means if it changes, you will fall out of love with me. That's a problem with the word. That's why we are where we are today. I think I don't love you anymore, because we feel is feeling, and that feeling is predicated on the actions and inactions of your partner. So what is love? Love is that genuine feeling whereby you accept somebody, not for what they do or what they don't do, but for who they are. So when the Bible said that God loves us, irrespective of the fact of our to and fro movement, irrespective of the fact that we are quick to go back to our vomit, He still loves us. Why? He's not looking at what we do or what we don't do. He's looking at who we are and what we can possibly be. So I would say love is the act of accepting someone for who they are per time. While commitment is the desire or the responsibility to have and to hold someone forever. Thank you.
That was good.
Tanya, sorry, Lillian is saying they cannot comment on the chat.
Who?
Lillian, she just posted on the WhatsApp group that she can't comment on the chat.
Okay. Chris, can you kind of work on that? I saw Lillian. I saw her did like this is if you can ask her, is that her? Because if you can ask her if that's her, because this is in the chat. I'll get up.
I answer.
Okay. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
No, I'm just saying, because if I wait too long, I'm gonna be like, I don't know what I was gonna say.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm just gonna say, okay, because love is like, okay, of course they give it many definitions. It's a deep feeling towards someone. Let's just stick with people. And it's like an intimacy. It's like such a close feeling. When we, and the scripture I think Chris was trying to do was the 1 Corinthians 13, where it says charity suffered long, but charity is love. And if you go in by the word, charity suffered long and is kind. Charity envieth not. It's not puffed up, wanted not itself. So it's like, it's like you can, and I think the thing is that we live in such a world where love is not even known. It's like, it's such evilness going on, it's such bad that there's not many that know what love is. And it could be like a child who's never received love. How are they going to love later on when they don't know? And to me, the commitment is like it's like the easiest way is like if you tell somebody you're going to do something, you don't lie. Okay, you're going to do it for that person. The commitment, because they're going to trust in you for what you have said you are going to do. You're going to be dedicated, But if we're talking about, I say the Lord, the biggest love He did for us was He laid His life down for us. That's love. And He said, what did He say? Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friend. And do we have that kind of love for anybody that you want to just jump? We may. But I mean, that's the kind of love that we are. If we're trying to be Christ-like, it's that love that does not look at a person and bring, how can I say that? It's like no matter what they do, because if it mattered what we did, Christ would have dumped us a long time ago. And He loved us enough to look beyond, but He gave us a way out. Okay, He gave us a way out when He died for us. That's the biggest love we could ever do. But if we're talking about with people, it's like, I can say, like, if you love your mother, it's like a feeling of respect and just like, I love her so deeply. It's like a hard thing to say because love is not, I don't know. It's like, it's not easily seen in this world. And so that's a tough one, but yeah. Yeah, it can. It can be. I know the biggest love is the one that Jesus did when he died on that cross. So that's me. The best love I could say I ever felt. Latanya don't went to sleep.
No, she's there. She's there.
What happened to Taya?
I think she done got booted herself off.
No, she's there. She might be having some tech difficulties,
Oh, okay.
but she's there. Trust me, if she booted herself off, we probably
We'd
this
be
live
booted off too, huh?
over. Yeah. So,
She got a
hold
phone
on, let me
call.
go back to where I was at. Okay, I already told you guys what I had said love was. It's an intense feeling of deep affection, and the second definition is a great interest and pleasure in something. Now, as a verb, it's feel deep affection for someone. He loved his sister dearly. Okay, that's the world's definition. The biblical definition is love is a way of relating to others and to God. Okay, that's love. Now, commitment is something very similar if you're looking at the biblical definition of it. Now, it says commitment is a state of personal dedication to someone or something which involves actively working for their well-being and promoting their good. That's the biblical definition. Now, the worldly is the state or quality of being dedicated to a cause or activity, or it could be an engagement or obligation that restricts freedom of action. Well, I would say love and commitment biblically have to do with putting the needs of others above yourself. It's stepping back, not being selfish, but being selfless and caring about the needs of others. Whereas the world is more self-centered, and that's how I'm looking into it, is more self-centered and geared towards, oh, let me get mine. So it's like, I would say, like in a relationship, going back to before, you could be, say you're not the spouse that's working, say your wife is the one that works. Now, the biblical thing and probably the better thing would be, after your wife's worked all day, try to help her some kind of way, especially too if you have children involved. It ain't gonna hurt to, clean the place, house, apartment, whatever. Make sure there's a home cooked meal. And if you ain't gonna cook, just make sure it's food there to eat. Draw her a bath, rub her feet, just try to support her, give her encouragement, because things are hard. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a female. Life is hard, period. And I would just rather had a bit what I feel is a biblical definition, like just love and support and be there for your spouse, instead of just being like, hey, it's a free for all. Hey, you worked all day, I don't care. Girl, you better get your butt up and fix some food, man. We hungry around here. Like, that's not cool at all. I'm like, if you gonna do that, you might as well just be there by yourself. Because you can do it by yourself. You don't need someone that's supposed to be a helpmeet for you to sit up there and just let you let you just fend for yourself. But that's just my thoughts on that. So Oh, Rita, if you want to say something, you can.
Oh, all right.
So we are agreeing that love is a feeling.
Yeah. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, we can.
We
Okay.
hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. Okay. So I'm just going to say from the definition Chris gave, which was quite extensive. I would say, sometimes there are places where love is not enough, can't exactly take you to commitment comes in. I remember Mark mentioned that what if the reasons why you love somebody changed? What happens? What now happens? So it's just like in a marriage, first of all, you love each other, then you become partners, couple. And then at some point, the love bubbles it's not really there all the time. It's not at every single point you feel so loved by your partner, or you feel you love your partner. There are instances where it changes. But then commitment is you seeing every situation and still trying to make it work. So it's like I'm dedicated to the cause. There's a reason why we got married, to build a family together, to build this vision, to build this dream. So now that is a cause, and that is what commitment can take you to. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I'm just trying to break it down to the best of my understanding. So it's not every time you feel that passion for each other, but then because of that
Rita,
cause, can you
hold
hear me?
on. Yeah, we can hear you, but you got a little bit of noise or something going on in the background.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
kind of distorting what you're saying a little bit.
Just give me a minute, please.
Okay.
I think Rita has dropped off. I don't know if
Well,
Pastor
she
Rod
has to
wants
bring
to.
her back, or she has to click back on the link to come back in.
Yeah.
No, I think she's still here, just that she muted her mic.
Oh,
I
okay.
think when it comes to love, my take is this: if it is a feeling, it therefore means that's the major reason it doesn't last. That's the major reason people can just wake up and end up in their lawyer's office seeking divorce, because feelings changes. It does.
Does
No,
any other
Okay, I think
person?
let me weigh in
Okay.
on love and commitment. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yeah.
hear you.
Okay. Now, love and commitment. Is it really possible? Okay. Is it really possible to actually separate love and commitment? Because if we remove commitment from love, then it is going to rest on purely emotion, your feelings. And if there's something we know about, feelings are like chemicals, they are unstable. So it's not possible to love someone, to separate love and commitment, because love itself is commitment. The reason why many people today are quitting marriage is because love for them is based on how they feel. So if I feel right, I feel you are the best person. If I don't feel like it, and that's why most people will tell you they are the reason why they want to divorce is I don't feel like anymore. That is not really love. Because if we want to talk about love as Christians, let's look at God's character. What is love? What does God say about love? What is love from God's perspective? So we must look at, is it, when we look at God, if the Bible says God is love, is it an emotional response? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there'll be no emotion in it, but I'm saying that love itself is commitment. Love itself is commitment. Because, and again, there's also something that I also want to bring to our notice. Now, when we talk about love, love cannot be one-sided. Love must be two people who are equally committed. Because if love is one-sided, one person will be grossly abused. And that's where most of the time we give room to abuse without knowing it. Because we think it's all about what I should do. No, it's what we should do. Love cannot be one-sided. If love is one-sided, that will be a big problem. Because let's look at us and God. Now, God loves us, yes, but he also expects us to do certain things. And that is why at the end of the day, he's going to judge us. So love cannot be one-sided. So because if we say, and love is what, it's not about what you, it's what both of you, because both of you have to be equally committed. Because for anything to work, the two people must be committed. If one person is committed and the other person is not, then the other person will be stressed out. And eventually, that marriage will break, or that relationship would break, or that partnership would break. So it has to be two people that are equally committed to the betterment of what? The other person. So I am committed, my wife is committed, I am committed, my partner is committed. That is how both of us can get the best of ourselves or what we want to do. But if I am committed, or let's say if my partner is committed and I'm not committed, I'm going to wear that person out. So when we talk about love, we must look at it from God's perspective. Yes, God was the initiator of love in terms of the redemptive work for us, but he also expects us to do something in return. So it's not just a love that I have loved you, then go ahead and do whatever you want to do. No, there are principles, there are requirements that we are expected to meet. And if we can't meet it up, that's why the Bible said it is he that endures to the end. So there is a requirement on our part to do for God. And if we don't do that, he's going to kick us out at the end of the day. So when we talk about love, we must balance it that it must be two people, either the male or the female. They both must be committed. Just like our sister said about the issue of going to work and coming back, and then the husband is expecting the woman to cook. Now, we have to look at the entire situation holistically. Now, when the woman goes to work, who is she working for? Is she working for the family or is she working for herself? Because there is no man that will not want to help the wife if he knows that the wife got his back. The reason why most men react like that is because the woman is working for herself. And then when things come up, she's like, you are the man of the house, fix it. So if you are going to work and you are working for yourself and I am working for the family, I will also expect you to be gracious to do something in return back for me. If the man knows that the woman is going to work and she is also working for the family, as he is also working for the family, the man will also go out of his way to make sure that at least food is ready because the wife is working late. So when we look at this whole thing, we must look at it from both perspectives. Because sometimes it's easy to say you are the man, you are supposed to do this, you are supposed to do this, you are supposed to do this. But when it comes to the woman, most of the time it's not enforceable on the part of the woman. And so men have learned this act of suffering in silence, because if they speak out, they are like, oh, you are a weak man. You need to put your house in order. Now, it's always like that. And most of the time, men have learned the art of suffering in silence. They won't say anything. But if the man knows that the woman, now, there are exceptions to the case. There are some men that are very bossy. They are not considerate. But for the most part, if you look at most times when men complain that their wives goes to work and they still expect her to do something, go and look at it. If you really come close to that family, you find out that the man, even though the woman is going to work, is not reflecting in the day-to-day activity in the family. She's actually working for herself. The man is still expected to pay all the bills, carry the entire load of the family. So the man feels being used. And so that's why, sometimes when you see men insisting that you must be the one to do the cooking and cleaning and doing this, now go and look at, now this woman is working, what is her contribution to the family? So this whole thing, when we talk about love, we must look at it from both sides. If two people are equally committed, that house will be a home that everybody will be eager to go back to. But if one person is committed, if the woman is committed and the husband is not committed, the man is going to wear out. If the man is committed and the woman is not committed, the man is also going to wear out. So that's just my input.
And the mindset, Pastor Welch, the mindset of the man's money is our money, while her money is our money. You get it? So that mindset also can also play a damaging role. For
Yes,
example,
my money is my money, your money is our
my
money.
money is my money. Ladies, most ladies believe that their money is their money.
Yeah.
Why the man's money is our money. So when the man ends, that's why you see a lot of men, they are ill-kept. They are not, they look shabby. They are not that, because everything they earn go into the running of the house. Why the lady feels, it's his responsibility. I think I saw, there was a lady who went viral because she said, I think later on the husband sent her packing. When the husband saw the video, they made a video that she doesn't have to.
Yeah, I should do my part when I feel like, yeah.
Yes, you saw the video, right? I think the man sent her packing also. So I think the thing is, this mentality whereby we think that because he is the provider, because he's the head of the house, because most men are lonely in their homes where they are providing. And if they are given the chance, they will jump out. They would. Because the thing is this, it is so alarming that we are in a generation whereby, and women are so quick to do this. When they start giving birth, they are so quick to get attached to their children, and then the man becomes alone. So the man is left alone by himself and on his own. So I think when ladies understand that when you are running a home and you want a man to submit to you, you want a man to love you and prioritize you, you need to understand that everything needs to be done corporately. It has to be together. Nobody becomes, how should I put it? Nobody exists independent of the other. So whether you are earning or whatever you are earning, it belongs to the family unit. Because the man, I've never seen a man who marries and then gives birth and then his money becomes, he sees his finances as independent of the family. I've never seen that. It's only ladies that does that. So if a man feels that you are not in 100%, you're not 100% into what is going on in the family unit, what happens? Most times you see him, when it comes to things that has to do with you as a lady, he'll be laid back. Why? Because he understands that you are operating in a way that sidelines him or puts him at a very disadvantaged position, whereby, for example, he comes to the house, everybody has eaten, everybody is about to go to bed. He comes in and is like left on his own to eat alone or something like that. He's always him being alone on his own, while the lady moves on with the children. Her money is her money and she can afford to spend it on the children. But when it comes to the husband, it's a no-go area. I think that's also another way to look at this. And it also contributes to the way men act when it comes to their family, their wife, especially. Satanya, welcome back. She left again.
Yep, she did.
What I have to say, wow, my internet went out.
It's an internet connection. That's why.
My internet connection, it went out. So
we got to rebuke that.
I had to call the company and for them to work on that. So I just got Rebecca up. But can you guys please, because that's part of, you're part of the panel. I need you all to hold it down and continue with, I have to step away for 10 minutes and then I will be back. So can you all please do that?
We got it.
You got it. Okay. So
we got it.
one of the, I don't know if you were still continuing where we stopped off at, but there was another question as well. If you want to continue, and whoever takes charge, make sure everybody kind of has a chance, to speak and pay attention in the live for questions. But there was another one where it says, what are your expectations for our future together? That was a question. I'm going to type it in really quick some other questions, and yes. So let me. Okay, one of the questions was, what are your expectations for our future together? That was one question, and then another one was, how do you handle conflict and disagreements?
Is that for a married couple?
Um, it's for it was for courtship. It was
Oh.
still under courtship questions, and so you all hold it down for continue. And I apologize, but this is so good, and people are being blessed by this. So, but yeah, that was what happened. Um, yes, thank you. So I'm going to pull myself off, and you all handle continue, please. Thank you.
Okay, who's going first? Pastor Walt, why not go first? Which are you answering first, Pastor Walt? How do you handle conflict and disagreements?
Okay, Mark, did you
I
show
think
the
he
question at
dropped
me?
off.
Or
Oh, it dropped off. So generally, how do we handle conflicts and disagreements as it regards relationship and then marriage? Because people are like, I think everybody can hear me, right?
Yes.
yes, we can make
Okay.
sense.
People are quick. I think when you are in love or people are in love before marriage, they are quick to think it's going to be for better. There won't be worse. Because the conflict comes in when the conflict actually defines the worse in that particular statement, for better or worse. And most times people don't realize that the words actually determines how strong the better will be, because after the storm, the sea actually becomes calmer, more calmer than it was before the storm. There's always this, because after a particular storm, you get to know the person, or after a particular conflict, you get to know your partner better. People think when the going is sweet and is okay, that's when we know each other better. That's when we talk better. That's when we communicate better. That's a lie. Your communication skills, your love and everything is tested and made stronger, not when things are going right or in the right direction, but when there is conflict. That's when you actually get to know if you actually love the person. That's when you know if you are actually good at communicating as far as the person is concerned. That's when you know a lot of things. That's when a lot of things about you and the person will be unearthed. For example, that's when you actually get to understand yourself as it regards anger issues, getting angry. That's when you get to understand what you words or the extent that you can go to express yourself as it regards your partner when you are in conflicts. Because, for example, different people express themselves differently when in conflicts. People can do that by throwing jabs, and some persons can do that by verbal abuse. Some person can do that by different kinds of emotional abuse, which therefore leads to mental abuse and what have you, or physical abuse, and many more. So for me, I think that according to the question, how to resolve conflict, because first of all, to be able to, as a new couple or somebody that is married, you must know that there will be storms, there will be conflict, because these are two people who were brought up under different cultures. Even if the cultures are similar, for example, you are from the same state, or if it's in Africa, you are from the same tribe, or wherever you're from, even if you are from the same place, there is still this dissimilarity between both of you as it regards the way you were brought up. Your family units were different. The family culture you grew up in were different. Maybe the lady grew up in a single home and the guy grew up in a home that has a mom and a dad. So the way he sees things and acts to things might be different from the lady he's getting married to. So there will always be conflict. There will always be conflict. So the issue now is when conflict arises, how do we solve it? I think the first things first is ladies must realize that their strongest weapon is their mouths. And the guys must realize that their strongest weapon is their mind. That's why guys are logical 99% of the chance, while ladies, they are mouthy. Sorry to say that, but it's true. A lady can fight and win battles with her mouth, but a guy can't. As far as it comes to that, a lady will always win. So understanding this, we must realize that when these conflicts arise, ladies must learn to keep mute more. There was a proverb I heard years ago. A lady came to a witch doctor. They referred a lady to a witch doctor. The issue was the lady was having issues with her marriage. Her marriage was breaking apart. And then somebody referred her to a witch doctor. That witch doctor is very potent, knows his job. So she went to the witch doctor and said, I have issues in my marriage. My husband is this, my husband is that, my husband does not do this, he doesn't do that. The witch doctor said, okay, no problem. I'll give you a medicine that will cure everything that is the conflict that is going on in your home. And she said, okay, no problem. I hope it will work. He said, yes. So the native doctor, the witch doctor gave her a stone and said, every time your husband starts talking and a conflict comes up, put it in your mouth. So she went home. When she got home, whenever there is a conflict, she will put it in her mouth. And anytime she puts it in her mouth, she can't say a word. And then to our greatest surprise, the conflict dies. And then the conflict comes up again, it dies. And then things started looking up and everything was going better in the marriage. Everything was going well. And then she was very happy and said, this witch doctor is very potent. He's very good. He's very good at what he does. So she went back to thank the witch doctor, and the witch doctor told her and said, what you gave me worked. And the witch doctor said, I didn't give you anything. What I gave you was just a stone. So the only way to tell you to keep quiet when your husband is talking is to give you a stone that you put in your mouth. That way you can't talk when he's talking. So when he's talking, you don't talk because two cannot be right at the same time. It takes two to tango. If he's talking, you are talking, there will be issues. So she now discovered, so the witch doctor now told her that the issue is that you are too mouthy. When he's talking, keep quiet, allow him talk. So ladies must realize that sometimes when there is conflict, they should learn to keep mute and let the man talk. Why men should realize that, because I said men, they are more logical because they are powerful, they have a powerful mind. Men should always realize that they don't need to make sense every time. They don't need to be logical every time as it regards the woman. That means everything needs to be, you need to see it like this. Everything needs to be shape, and everything needs to be this, everything needs to be that. They need to realize that as it comes to the ladies, they must sometimes let logic, just leave logic beside and just listen when the woman is talking. So that's what I have to say as pertaining to the question, conflict, how to resolve conflicts. So somebody else can. So Mr. Chris, you can say something.
You're muted.
You're muted.
This thing just mutes on its own. No, I'm gonna go last. So whoever wants to speak next, go ahead.
Speak?
Well, she says she wants to make a comment. I mean, she can. She's just not going to come on. So I don't know what she wants to do.
Miss Empress, can say something.
Yeah, so yeah, thank you. I was
Camera off.
sorry.
She can leave her camera off and just speak. Let me see.
Yeah, she could. Layla, if you got something to say, you could come on and say it. Or just say it in the chat.
Okay, thank you. So I was going to say that conflict in a relationship, how does one manage it? First of all, it's one thing to be in a right relationship. Yeah, and it's another thing to try to manage conflicts in that right relationship. So I'll focus on the right relationship. So one good thing that I've heard from couples that have been together for a long time is they try to ensure they solve any conflicts they have before they go to bed. So if it's something that couples can imbibe, or let's say people in courtship can imbibe, you have issues, we all have issues. In my country, they say the mouth and the tongue and the teeth, they still get to clash because they're in the same space, right? So there is a high tendency that you guys will have issues. So one thing, or the one of the ways I would recommend is trying to solve each problem as they come, so it doesn't keep building and keep building. And one thing about women is we do not forget things. You will see a woman that's been married for, let's say, 15 years. She will remember what her husband did year one of their marriage, year two of their marriage. Apparently, she has probably not forgiven the man, or whichever one, whichever person wronged the other. So, like Christ always forgives us. Let's imbibe that characteristics. Let's try to forgive each day as it comes. The Bible says it's 70 times 7, or how I can't remember how it's quoted. But the summary is let's learn to forgive each day as it comes, because that way it doesn't pile up and we don't get to explode when it happens. Because like Mark said, women can talk. Men will just keep it in and they will keep probably just trying to reason it out and all of that. But the day the man will explode, maybe that's the day that's the issue, you cannot even manage it again. At least they will say it has fallen on the ground, you cannot pack it. Just like when an egg breaks, it's difficult for you to put it together. Another thing is we should also learn to communicate. It's very key in relationship. One of the things that has made some conflict to stretch beyond what it's supposed to be is communication. You can't really say what is in the heart of your husband or your wife. Women have the tendency to want to hope that the man understands what they're angry about. I have sisters that are married and I sometimes hear them say some of these things. I also have friends that are married, and I'm close to one of my brother-in-law, and he will say, your sister is just squeezing her face. Do you know I don't even have the slightest of idea why she's squeezing her face? So we women, we want to assume that the man should know what the problem is, even while cutting. I'm a woman, as I can also say that probably I have acted that way in some manner. But again, I've learned over time that truly you're married to somebody or you're in a relationship with someone, the person might not know. You might think he knows or probably has wronged you, but what if he doesn't know? So just do your bit, say it, and if the issue isn't addressed as you want it to be, maybe you'll now probably sort for other ways to address the issue. But it's in our place, both ways now, not just the woman. If the woman wrongs the man or the man wrongs the woman, be able to communicate your feelings and how you want this issue to be addressed. The truth is that issues will always come. So are you going to keep piling those issues up and piling them up and piling them up? And again, someone says the person that doesn't forgive is the one that is living in toxic and that has a toxic emotions or mindset, because you are storing in so much hatred. It even go as far as even if two people are not together again. Yes, you might have been hurt. We might not be in good terms, but keeping that hurt in your heart doesn't help you. As much as you can help yourself, heal, go through the process, heal, and try to let go of those pains, of those hurt, of those emotions. That way, you'll be able to grow as a person. You'll be able to also share better experiences with some other person you'll be meeting in the future. So you're not toxic to the next person. The person you're meeting does not deserve all the negative things you've gone through in your past and all of that. So number one, open communication. Number two, learn to forgive. learn to solve each problems as they come, because that's the only way you can grow in a relationship. If you stay in stage 1, how do you get to stage 10? More issues will arise. How do you even solve the big ones where you cannot solve the small ones, the little ones that comes before the big ones? I think I'll just stop there and allow someone else to speak. Thank you.
I think my question will now be, is it possible to communicate when the conversations are heated?
So what you said, is it possible to communicate when the conversation? It's just like saying two mad people talking. Like, how would you even communicate? So probably I should also mention that there's a right way of communication, right? It's not just talking, or probably communication, like effective communication. It has to be an effective communication. There's a listening and there's a receiving, and there's a someone is speaking and some other person is listening. So it's a two-way conversation, not just two people shouting on top of their voices. That way you're not even communicating at all to start with. That's not even communication. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, there's an issue on ground, and everybody wants to be heard, and this party is talking, the other party is talking. So I want to ask a question. Is it right? Because I realize that men has this trait of walking out when such conversations get heated or such issues erupt. They'll just leave, they'll just walk away. So do you think it's right for the man to walk away, to allow the situation to settle?
Absolutely.
Before they cannot have effective communication? Because in the light of such issues, of such complications, effective communication cannot be had, is not possible. So what do you think? Is it right for the man to walk away in such a heated moment in order to reconvene later for effective communication?
Yeah, I think the key word there is coming back to address that issue, because some people will just walk away and that's the end. That issue doesn't get solved. You get? So staying in a heated conversation, there is no communication. Let's not even get that mixed up. There is no communication because nobody's listening and nobody's speaking at that point. It's good to walk away, but not walking away and not coming back to address the situation. I would like to put it that way.
Okay, can I say something, please?
Okay, please.
In the light of the walking out, me, I really don't like someone walking out on me when I'm everywhere in my head and I'm so angry. I think before the walkout happens, it is important your partner tells you something like, okay, I'm not in the right frame of mind to have this conversation with you. So I think I'll just step back or, go clear my head or something. I think that should be said before he leaves that conversation. Because people get angry when you're talking to them and boom, they just slam the door at your face or they just walk away. It's even more disrespectful. It might even escalate the whole issue. So I think it's better you tell, okay, you know what? I'm just going to take a break. I'm just going to step out. And maybe when I'm calm and the right frame of mind, we would have this conversation. We would continue this conversation. Because conflicts and arguments test your conflict resolution skills. It tests your patience. It tests your tolerance level. It just tests everything about you. So I believe it's important that the communication, very, very important. And there should be some ground rules you and your partner should have when you are having conflict, even before the conflict happens. Okay, say something like, sweetheart, I don't want a situation where we're arguing, we can't sleep on the same bed or we can't sleep in the same house. I've seen couples like that where little arguments, the man has taken off in his car and is out of the house till the next day, till next 2 days, till next week. Or some women just leave the house, go to their friend's place to crash at night. Rules like that. Okay, if you're having arguments, you can go to the living room to sleep, but you're not leaving the house. Or we'll still hit on the same plate, despite the fact that we're arguing. We'll still say good morning to each other. Until the issue is fully addressed, then we can now be the way we usually are with each other. But there are some extreme situations where people just take actions like that, and I feel it's not proper during arguments or conflicts. So yes, we need as individual we need to be patient more patience, because of course you're dealing with different people from diverse background, ethnicity, and upbringing. So we need to be more patient, tolerant, and understanding, because the point of view with which someone is coming from is different from the point at which you're looking at the whole conflict. And if after days it's not resolved, then you can confide in a close friend, to provide insight on how best the conflict can be resolved. That's just what I want to say. Thank you.
I think sorry, I still want to say something concerning the walking away. See, the conversation is heated, right? Nobody is listening. That's it. That's one thing with conflict. Nobody is listening. The lady is not listening. The guy is not listening. Everybody wants to put in their point. Nobody is listening. Now, what ladies, please let me quickly say this. What ladies don't know, when a guy gets to the point of taking his car keys and wants to leave, what you don't know is that's the particular point he gets to if he's a fellow man, and then they'll start exchanging fists. Do you understand? So it takes a high level of decency for him to want to leave at that point. Because at that point, if it was his fellow man that he's talking to at that point, that they were going at it like that, it will lead to something else. So men, they don't have the decency to say, okay, let me walk away from the conversation. Since we are not listening to each other, let me walk away. I think what you do as a woman is this. I told somebody, I said, what you do as a woman is this. If you understand the risk of him walking away, because a lot of persons have walked away from conversations from their spouse because of their frame, of their mindset at that time when driving on the road, they had an accident. And then what happens? You'll be the one that is on the spot at the end. So the best thing you should do as a lady is abandon the conversation, abandon the argument. Hold him and tell him, let's forget it. I'm sorry, whatever is happening, we'll talk about it later. Because if you are trying to stop him from leaving, you should understand that the reason he's leaving is because he's about to come out swinging. So he just has to leave. If he's a fellow man, he's going to swing, as in they are going to fight. The conversation has just gotten to a level whereby something else is about to happen. So he has to leave. So what you would do, either you abandon the conversation as a lady and hold him and say, I'm sorry, let's leave everything. Let's leave everything. I'm sorry, stop. Don't leave. I'm sorry. Or you people have a conversation prior to your marriage that if such an issue is to happen, you can't go outside the house. The worst you can do is go to the guest room or go to within the compound to chill up. I think that's the best thing. Because for a man to say he wants to leave, if you don't allow him leave, something else will happen. Thank you.
That part. So true.
Layla.
Oh, Layla. Okay. Yes.
Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. God bless you all. I love
Yeah.
everyone on here to life. This has been a great discussion. I'm coming in like at the end. I have been definitely learning and gleaning a lot. I just had put in Amos 3:3. How can two walk together if they do not agree? So that is where the foundation, and I know we're talking about marriages, but just relationships and partnerships in general. If we don't have things that we agree upon, it's really not a relationship, because you're not even going to see the things that I see. You're not going to want the things that I want, or we're not going to want the things that each other wants, because we're not in agreement on anything. So I think that with any relationship, there has to be a common ground. And if
Uh-oh. Come back, Layla.
Well, you having tech difficulties, Layla.
Okay, I'm not for sure, but Layla, if you can hear us, I just wanted to make a quick comment. Please jump back in anytime and let us know that you're back so you can continue. So I was I kind of laughed because it was kind of funny how McPherson mentioned it, how as a man, for sure, if you try to stop him from leaving, and yes, we're talking about in the context of a marriage, he's gonna come out swinging. And by no means we're saying about abuse or anything. However, and McPherson and Chris, you could weigh in on that as our two guys being on the panel. But what I think I'm hearing is when there is a conflict, excuse me, because we know that also the scripture says, do not go to sleep on your, anger. And I don't think that necessarily means you have to resolve it, you know, but going to bed angry, um, and maybe we can touch on that a little bit too. But what I think I'm hearing is that if the guy, because us as women, we may tend to, we want to like, no, we want to solve it. Like, what's wrong? No, we got to talk about this. And then the guy is like, I need to go cool off, or I need to, just kind of get away from the situation. Now, like what McPherson was saying, that we're not talking about him leaving the house and going somewhere and staying, but to another place with maybe within, like he mentioned, the compound within the house, if he needs to just kind of cool down a little bit, whatnot. And then I think it's important to come back together. You may be like, you know what, we need to, this particular issue, maybe at another time, we need to talk about this, but right now we don't need to, you don't need to go to bed angry, anger at each other, but you can agree to like, okay, we're going to come back and visit this. But I don't know. So that's just kind of my input that I just wanted to. Yes, you can agree to disagree. So that's what I was. I think that's what I was getting from what McPherson was saying.
Well,
Well,
two
I
quick.
hope Willa comes back. Huh?
No,
Oh,
go ahead.
Chris.
I was just going to say two quick things, but go ahead. I can wait.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I cut you off.
No, like what I'd say, a man needing time, like you just need in those particular moments, it's a lot going on. You need time to process all of that. So it's better to go and leave from the situation and give that time to cool off, because even if you try to talk about it, one person's ticked off. And it's like,
Oh my God.
Trying to throw something up against the wall, it ain't going to stick. You ain't going to hear because you're not in the right frame of mind. So it's better to get up and walk away from that situation, let things cool down, and then later try to talk to the person. Because I can't speak for nobody else, but I know that's happened to me many times. And me, I get to the point, it don't take much for me to figure out and be like, hey, I'm trying to talk to this person's not listening to me anyway. So instead of me trying to force it, let me get away from the situation. And two, I don't want to feel like I'm wasting my breath, wasting words, because I'm a person, I don't like repeating myself multiple times because I feel it's unnecessary. Sometimes it is, but other times just a quirk of mine. I hate it. Can't stand it. But that's me. That's different from person to person. And the other thing I was gonna say is Lillian had a question. Now I don't know if you want to keep going on with this particular point, but she had a question. Ufiang brought that to our attention in the chat. Is it possible to love someone and not be sexually attracted to that person?
Oh wow, that's a good. I'm trying to find her question. And yes, that's we can go in right there.
No, it's the question is not on YouTube. I sent it on the private chat because she couldn't type on the chat.
Okay, so the question, is it possible to love someone and not be sexually
Hey,
attracted?
topic. What?
You back?
We up. Layla's
We hear
back.
you.
Oh, I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead, Layla. We hear you.
So, are we answering her question?
Yes.
answering the
I'm
question?
just
Okay.
I'm putting it up in the comment. So that's the question. Is it possible to love someone and not be sexually attracted to the person?
4-month-old granddaughter. Please forgive her. She's a little fussy.
Oh,
I believe that we can love someone and not be sexually attracted to them. I definitely can believe. I believe that. But is she asking from the perspective of being with that person as her partner for marriage or a partner for a relationship? But with marriage, it has to be marriage because we know that
yes.
fornication is not of
Yes.
God. So
Yes.
it's for marriage.
It's for
So if you're
marriage.
not sexually attracted to them, I don't think that relationship would constantly hold because that's a part of marriage. The marital bed is undefiled. So
Exactly.
if you're not sexually attracted to that person, yes, you can have everything else together and agree upon things and you love that person, but there is an act, like love is an act of sex is an act of worship. If people don't really know that, like it's worship in the best way when you're married. That's why he said it's undefiled. So if she's not going to be sexually attractive to her mate, I don't think that that's her mate.
Sorry, worship to who?
It's worship to you guys together. You are one. You're becoming one together. So it's worship with you guys together, not to God. God is we ultimately both worship him in spirit and truth. But sex
Okay.
does not, define a relationship, but sex is a great part of the relationship as well. Or are you just going to get married and not have sex? But I thought we were supposed to be fruitful and multiply. How do you do that without sex?
Yep. Tell her, Layla.
That would be my.
Thank you, Layla. That was yes.
Layla out here preaching today.
Yeah, I think that answers it comprehensively.
Yeah, penguin sis.
Yes. So, Afian, I think I heard you. You were saying
No, I think Leila answered it very comprehensively.
yes, she did. Let's see, Sister Rita. Haven't heard from you. What would you like to contribute to that? I think Sister Layla,
I really think Layla did justice to that for you. I think she did. I don't think there's anything to add.
Okay, so the guys, McPherson.
For me, I think nobody should marry a person that they are not sexually attracted to. Personally, though, because what are you people going to be doing? Services, church service. Is that what you people are going to be doing in the house? So I would say personally, no one should marry anybody they are not sexually attracted to. Reason being that sex was not created as a union outside marriage, but it's created for marriage. And if that is true, we must realize that there is something in it that brings two souls together as one. Because if you go into that, you find out that there's a term that says consummating the union or something like that. Now, after the marriage, you consummate the union. There's a way they put it, I don't understand. That means the wedding night. You do that. There's a way they put it, I can't remember. So that means after the ceremony, you paid or you've done all you needed to do. The final point of the wedding is at the wedding night when you meet the bride. When nobody is there and both of you now, you come together and a soul tie happen. And this soul tie, sorry, I'm using that term, but this coming together.
Marriage.
Yes, so this coming together continues, which will now lead to, because there's an exchange in this, there's an exchange between two parties in this. So I don't see any sense in even dating somebody you are not sexually attracted to. I don't see any sense in it. Because what is marriage without sex? Because sex was created for marriage. So it's somehow. That's my take.
You're muted. You're muted, Latanya.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. So I just want to chime in really quick on this question, and whoever wanted to comment. So, do you advise me to have sex while dating? Well, first I just want to say that's not what we're not promoting that. We're not saying that we're giving biblical, perspective on these questions. And so thank you for asking that.
Even if I think it's not just on biblical perspective alone to tell somebody to keep themselves or to remain celibate during what's called doing dating. It's not just biblical perspective alone. Biologically, it is, and psychologically, it is beneficial to stay away when you are dating, because psychologically, what happens to you when you are used to having let me just use the word relations or sex before marriage? Psychologically, it does something to you upstairs, because when you talk about sex, if you have it outside marriage, first of all, it doesn't guarantee that the person will get married to you. Because I saw a lady who was crying and she was weeping to high heaven, saying that what do men want? You give them all the styles in the world on the bed and still they will not marry you. So I just felt, okay, this lady, she just got heartbroken because she thought sex actually leads to marriage. It doesn't. So biologically, we realize that your body as a female, actually, although it's very, very different from a male, your body as a female gets how should I put it? We have what is called, should I go there?
Well,
hello?
Yes. We don't want to be vulgar and get a a strike or
not
something.
Vulgar. No, okay, this is what I was saying when I said should I go there? Because actually, for me, it might not be vulgar. That was why I said should I go there? Because it is my field. I actually studied physiology in school. So okay. I can, for me, it might not be vulgar, but for you guys, it will. So let me just leave it there. Thank you.
Okay. So, does anyone else? I will piggyback. Okay. Yes, please go, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what Maka said, and the reasons why you think you should have sex while dating is also something you need to think about. Most times the reasons are not the right reasons. Most times it is not. So you need to be very sure what reasons you're thinking about, you're contemplating on, that it's making you want to take that decision. So you need to reflect on that properly. Is it pressure from your partner, pressure from your friends, or pressure from social media? So you need to be sure if it's right with your own personal values and your belief. Yes, that's what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, and just stay away from it too, because it could create some strong emotional ties too. Just it depends on the person. Because, like, I know for me, like I said, I was involved with somebody, certain things took place. I'm not going to speak to that, but, when you're with somebody, things tend to happen. And I knew deep down, like, I was almost going to, sleep with the person, almost. But God put a kibosh on that because he already knew what was coming. He protected me in that moment. And I know that, a lot of things could have happened. She could have got pregnant. And me, I want kids. Like, I hold off from having kids because my hands are already full. I got a sick dad that I take care of. And that's already difficult. And I know me personally, I'm like, I'm not trying to be involved with somebody because that's just another personality to take on that I know that I'm not ready to deal with at this moment. So I just choose to, it takes a lot to have to come to that decision, but I'm like, I know where I'm at right now. I don't want to deal with that. And I know how I can be. Like, I have things I'm still working on. So I'm like, I'm not going to take on anything extra that I don't feel I should. But yeah, just emotional ties. You get very emotionally tied to that person. Say you do sleep with that person. Now you might feel like, hey, it should be you and I after this, but she might not feel that way because you don't know her background. She might have been with other people prior to you, but she didn't tell you that. Going back to the communication standpoint of it, she might not have told you that. And, you might have different morals and standards. Like, hey, in my family, I noticed my parents didn't do this, or they might have brought you up not to do that. So then that becomes your foundation. But then you have a partner that, has a different background, brought up differently, or whatever the case may be. So you have to consider those things as well.
Yes. The only thing I will add to that question is to go back and just reiterate. So, do you advise me to have sex before dating? Um, no, no,
Definitely not.
no, no. Because for one, the word, uh, what the word calls it, and I mean, I'm sorry, what the Bible says about it, and so that's number one. But
Fornication.
But right, so that's that part. The other part I just wanted to ask is kind of going back to Lillian's question: is it possible to love someone and not be sexually attracted to the person? Yeah, I think that's possible, but I think that because intimacy is a very big part of the marriage, you need to be sexually attracted to the person because I would say that would cause issues, when and that's just the truth. That's going to cause that would I would say think that would cause great issues if you go ahead and you marry someone that you are not attracted to. That's not going to be fair to that man, you know
You're in
um
a lie. You're in a lie relationship
and
because
yes,
he's
yes,
thinking you love him and you don't
yeah,
love him
and
like that.
that's
That's how I
deceptive,
know.
right? Oh, and that's deceptive, and vice versa. It may be some men who, for maybe their selfish reasons, they
Mhm.
get with a woman and they're not attracted to her. So it's deceptive.
Lust.
It's deceptive and a lot of things. So I wanted that's a very good, very big, I mean, a very important question. So if you're not attracted to this person, um and you love them but you're not attracted to them, I think they both need to go hand in hand.
And
um
don't get in bed with someone
So
if you're not ready for the outcome of that sexual relationship that you're getting ready to have. That is what's wrong with why we have these poor babies in the situation they are now, is that these, women get pregnant by a man who either by lust or, lack of self-confidence, whatever, and you get pregnant by that guy. Are you ready for what comes with sex? Or, because not everything birth protection is 100%. Unless you go ahead and cut your tubes, then, but still, if you're trying to get together with somebody, you got to be ready for the whole thing that comes along with it. So it's, you love that guy enough to have a baby by him, because honestly, that's what comes with it. So,
well,
you're going to ask yourself some questions too.
and I'll even say this, even outside of the part about a baby, how you could have that outside, no one talks about the spiritual ramifications of doing that. And that's something that is beyond, a physical baby that could come out of that. But the joining together with someone, and how God is, that is, you're joining together with someone, and we can't really understand all of that, but it's a serious thing, when that happens, when you hear of some people, that's, it can even be deadly, because, in some situations when you do that, and then let's say the guy, he wants to leave, he doesn't want to move forward. And then some of these women, they have gotten, because something happened, they are like, some of them may be like, you're not going anywhere. You're not,
Obsessed.
yeah, they become obsessed. Yes, that really does happen. And it can be lethal. That man, or it could be the woman too. I mean, for the woman, and it could be for the man too. And it's like, wow, what happened, when you hear about those situations, that happen. So, and I just want, our sister Shireen, she put, we as believers should make no provision for the flesh. We understand that God created sex to be between a husband and a wife. Let us not put ourselves in a position to fall. Amen. Amen to that. Amen. We can't add or take from what the word says about that, no matter what. And so, absolutely.
That is true, but then sometimes we got to also look at the fact that, and I'll take it from like a little bit from my situation. We got young girls out there who have no guidance, number one. So, yeah, it's a good thing you say that, because maybe somebody is going to look at this video, but we can't, sometimes we got to look at this, at who is listening and who might listen. And you got young ladies who don't have a family that tell them anything like that. Maybe their family is not godly. So who are they getting their information from? So I'm really happy about this video here, to not only give them advice, but that they can also see what God says, and not saying, maybe they don't even know God, but they got godly advice too, what the word says, which is something I didn't get. And everything I had to do, I did it on my own, and I had to learn from my own consequences. And I wish I had something like this to be out that I could have solved. Not saying I would have saw it, but what if I did? Then I would have had like some answers to the things that was going on with me that nobody else told me about.
Right.
So this is a good thing.
Right.
Amen.
Yes. So we have a question. When is the right age for dating? Like, do I have to get to a particular age before I date? So who would like to tackle that question?
To have a baby?
No.
Dating.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute.
No.
What the heck? Okay, I'm gonna be quiet on this one. Go ahead, y'all.
No,
So,
she was asking a
mhm.
question. What is the
Uh,
right age for dating?
if
And
you
that
ain't
she has
mature
to
for
be
it,
a particular age, yes,
you don't
before
have a
she
mature mind. If you ain't mature, you'll end up like me. And the things that I did because I didn't know. If you just going into dating because, oh, I want a boyfriend because everybody else dating, don't do it. Don't do it. Save yourself from all kinds of trouble.
Amen.
I'll be right back.
So, Sister Afiang, did you have any? We haven't lost you, have we?
No, she said she had to drop. Oh,
Yeah,
almost.
I'll probably just speak then. I was asking for your permission to drop, but there's some pressing things I need to attend to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I can speak before I leave. Okay, so
Yes.
when is the right age for dating? For me, I think when you are matured enough to take responsibility for whatever comes out of the relationship, because I because I've seen some young people at 18 get married and they still stay married. So, but I would really want to say that maturity comes with a lot of responsibility. So, if you have gotten to the age, definitely not minors, please don't get me wrong, no minors, like below 18. I don't think you are ready because you still have a lot of things ahead of you. But when you start getting to 18, there are some responsibilities that start falling on you as because you are being seen as an adult. However, you have some things to achieve as a young person. You need to go to school. You need to be responsible. You need to, so there are lots of things that comes with being an adult. And if you think you are physically, emotionally, spiritually ready to take on some responsibilities that comes with being in a relationship, fine. And I think Rita said, you have to be going into that relationship for the right reasons too, not because of pressure from people and all of that. When I was in the university, I think that was either my third year or my fourth year. That was my first degree. I remember my friends kept telling me, "Is it that something is wrong with you? Are you sure you are not a lesbian? Because we've never seen you with anybody." And I was like, because at that point, most people are in one relationship or the other in a university. For me, it doesn't matter. To be honest, I was pressured into getting into a relationship, and I was like, this is not what I want. I left, and the person was heartbroken. But it was as a result of pressure. I think I was 23 then, but I wasn't even ready. I was not ready. Do you understand? So it has to get to a point. There are some people, they would say, I want to finish my university before I can start bringing in somebody into my life, because it's responsibility. You need to cater for your feelings. You need to cater for the person's feelings. And to what end? To what end are you having that relationship? That's the most important thing. Are you just having it just because you want somebody to be calling you in the morning and ask, have you had the breakfast? Is that what you want? It has to be for a tangible reason. Are you looking at planning to get married after courting and all of that? You need to define what you want so that something that looks good does not appear good to you when it's actually not good, because lots of young girls have fallen into that mistake by thinking, oh, because he's good looking, I don't have anybody. No, you just need to define. As a young girl, there were lots of things I wanted to achieve on my own, and I knew being in certain relationship would hinder me from achieving that. So I stayed focused. So basically, it has to do with, what do you want in life? At what point do you think, okay, I'm physically, emotionally, financially ready to accommodate somebody in my space? That's when you should consider going into a relationship. Thank you.
Thank you. We know you have to go, Afwan. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good
All
day.
right. Thanks, Young. Bye.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Miss Rita, do you want to weigh in on this question?
Okay. Yes, I'd like to weigh in on that. Yes, you should be going in for the right reason. To me, I believe that if I'm going into a relationship, the end goal is for marriage. Yes.
So you're not dating to have fun. I mean, young people need to understand that relationship is not going just for fun or just to say you have a man to hang around with. And it's not a poverty alleviation scheme. That is something that is something I really need to ring in the ears of our young ones. It is not a poverty alleviation scheme. So do not go into relationship the mindset that this guy is going to provide me with my 3 square meals a day. So that should not be your reason. So yes. And also you need to be emotionally prepared, physically, financially, and even spiritually prepared and ready if you're going into a relationship. It's beyond the physical. It's not just I have a partner, I'm dating somebody's son. It's not just that. So yeah, your right reason should not just be you want a partner, but you should look at the end goal, which is for marriage. Always have that mindset. And your priorities, yes. If you have your priorities set out, you would know where the relationship thing should fall under. If you said if you set out some particular milestones for you, you would know where to fit dating into. So please, I think you should bear that in mind. Thank you. That's just what I need to add.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I actually heard something, and it was, I thought, like, wow. And I've heard this before, but one of the things was, uh, if a guy comes to you and says he wants to um, date, I'm trying to think how the person said it, but basically find out what are the intentions. Are they wanting to court you for marriage, or are they just looking for a good time? Like, what, like, because the purpose of dating can be for some people just a pastime. It can be just, you need to know what the intentions are, or you could end up giving a lot of your time to someone and then it never goes anywhere and you can't get that back, you know. Like, and especially as a believer, what are we doing? I mean, are you, do you see something in me that you feel like, okay, I would like, I, I mean, yeah, you want to kind of get to know some things about the person, but you need to know what the intentions. If the person is like, no, I just want to date just to, I mean, just find out. And if that's what they're wanting, then okay, that's not what you're wanting. You're not wanting to waste your time. And that's not saying that even if you get into a relationship and that was the intention, and maybe along the way, something may come up and you may change your mind. It may be, no, I don't think this is, no. Then I think that both people should let each other know. I guess my biggest thing is, wasting people's time. We shouldn't do that. And I don't think it takes a long time and years for us to figure out if this person is someone you would want to be with. Because the truth of the matter, you can probably learn everything you can about that person. And when you do get married, I'm sure a lot of things is going to be probably like starting all over again to a degree, maybe with some things, because the difference is you were not living together. And when you live together with someone, you can seem compatible when you're not living together, but when you actually live together, most people who have been married will say you're going to learn things about each other that you're not going to know when you're not living together. So I just wanted to say that part.
Amen. That's
Yeah.
the truth. That's
Yes.
the truth. I've been there. You don't know who the person is until you're under the same roof with them.
Yeah.
Find out about them before you do anything, which is what I did not do. Find out about a person. You need to know if he has a short temper, if he is just whatever he is, dirty, don't care, who knows what he could be. Find out that before you get in there with him. Because you're going to have hidden secrets. And I think after a year, they can only hold a person you with can only hold their true self for so long, and it's gonna slip out. So, spend time if you're young, live your life. There's other things to do besides finding a boyfriend or girlfriend and messing up your life. So take that from someone who knows. Even though my son wasn't a mess up, but the life that I lived, prior to him, yes, it was. Yes. So
I agree.
yeah. A lot of young
Thank
girls
you.
don't. A lot of young girls can't wait. They have to do what their girlfriends do, and peer pressure is real. And don't ask how I know. Peer pressure is real, and it will mess you up. And if you don't have anyone to tell you anything, you go out into the world not knowing, and you mess your life up. And you look back 56 years later and saw all the stuff you did, and you'd be like, where was everyone? Where was the ones who could have stopped me? And it's a sad thing, but it's what's going on. Nobody has anyone to talk, because your mama and your grandmama is your age. They're the same age now. So we don't have big mamas no more, or any mamas or whatever to tell you what, because most of them are single and free.
Wow.
Young, wild, single, and free.
Nope.
Nah, that ain't the life for me. I'm sorry.
So I'm looking at our time, and like I had stated from the beginning, I know that we are going to be having, this is a I personally think, and I hope if you all think so in the chat, if this has been and was very helpful. And so definitely we're going to have a part 2. It could be a part 3. We don't want to just rush through these, because we do care. We do care about this and these questions, and we really want to help others, because like we mentioned, some people, they may not have someone that they can talk to, or someone that like they're going to get the advice from somewhere. And so what better than to be in a space and a place where questions can be asked, and we're going to give them and like Macpherson was saying, and I do get what you're saying. There are definitely, yes, as believers, we do what we do in a lot of things because we are governed by the word of God, the scripture. But then also, I do get what you're saying. There are some things that it's just kind of like it's common sense. It's kind of general. And so,
Can I say one thing?
yes.
I mean, okay, this is just me. I'm just having to tell you what I'm feeling. This is good. Okay, I appreciate it. And it can be breaking up into a few shows, but sometimes it be too long. Because we're at 2 hours now.
Yes.
And so right now we're just running our, just yakking back and forth, whatever. But it can be broken into a 2-part or 3-part.
Yes.
And I think it would be better, because then everybody gets tired. Everybody gets tired, and it's only so far we should go.
Yes.
But
Well, people get a chance to come on and speak too.
So
now that would be nice. Now that would be nice if we get more people to speak.
I hear you 2%. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I think that it's good. 2 hours, 3 hours, no matter how long it takes, because people come in at different time zones as well. So we're, some people's on the West, some people's on the East Coast, some people's in Africa, you know what I mean? So the time varies and the time changes. So I think we can't put like a cap to it, because you just don't know who God's going to send or who's going to come in at the very 2-hour mark, and then we're cutting off. So then they have to go back. They have questions, but they can't get them answered because we're closing out. So I get what she's saying, that it's been 2 hours and something and people are getting tired, but there are still some that are coming, like the last little few that come in at the last minute. You know what I mean? They might need some help. There might be a question that someone on here, God uses you as a vessel to answer that question before they go off and do something crazy, right? So I
Yeah.
don't know, just move by the Holy Spirit is all I can say. Let the Spirit lead you on when to end, when to open, and how long to go, because you just never know. You just never know. Someone could be wanting to commit suicide. Somebody could be having something going on in their home life.
Mhm.
And these questions and these answers and these topics are going on as they come in. Whether it's 2.15, we've been on 2.33, we've been on, because I came on late, but I got a great chunk of information that is very helpful to me because you guys were already on when I came on. So I think we just go as the Spirit leads.
I'm
Amen.
glad you came on, sis. 2% got a
My
question.
penguin sister be knowing what she talking about. I ain't gonna argue with her.
2% Big Mike, I love her so much. She is such
Me
a breath
too.
of fresh air. Like,
She
she's
been
so
cracking
real.
me
A
up
lot of
the
people
whole
can't
show.
understand her. I love her.
My penguin sister
I
right
love
there.
her. I love her. I love all of you guys, but 2% is just one of a kind. That's how he wired her. But I'm
Yeah,
so
he wired
grateful
me
for
that
her.
way. He
So
wired me
grateful
that
for
way, and
you.
sometimes I hate having stuff in my head, and I want to say it.
No,
and
get it out.
some-
Get it
No,
out.
that's what I'm saying. Some people get embarrassed by what they are actually thinking, and I'm like, no, I got to say it. And then you tell me if I'm wrong or right. But the only reason I said that was, it'd be nice to have like a rotation of people who actually will come on for so long and so many times. Like, I can't shut myself down. We have a few other people who are actually blank screen. Not you, Layla. We know about you. But things, people come and they go. But if you're gonna do like 3, 4, 5 hours, you might as well have a 24-hour show and have people. But we got to have people who want to speak. Nobody has to have a camera on. I just do it because I feel like you need to know who you're talking to. But
Yeah.
but if we have more people willing to open up and speak, eventually you're
And
gonna
there
get
she is, Layla.
Hi.
That's my
It's the
sister right
party.
there. People unite. But I mean, it's like I could be up here with y'all for 4 or 5 hours. But
Right.
what are we going to be saying? But if it came from a different person, they're going to have something different to say.
Right.
Eventually you're going to run out of all my stuff, and then I'll be like, I don't know what else to say to you. But somebody else come in and have a different situation. This is why we got to be people who want to talk.
And if I can just cut in, we definitely have questions. This has been so good. This has been really good, and I definitely hear what Layla is saying, and thank you so much for that. I want to be respectful of everybody's time, because like we are different time zones, and even being blessed to have from a different country. So I do, there's an echo. I'm sorry. Somebody may need to mute. So we do have just a few more questions. And it's almost at yes. So I want to pull at least one or two, and I want to have everyone to chime in, but I want McPherson and Chris to chime in. And one of the questions was from Sister Lillian, and she said, what should a man or woman look out for in a spouse before conjugal bliss? McPherson, can you input on that, please?
Okay. Personally, I'll still say that it depends on the person in question, because likes and dislike differs. I've seen a lady who said if she's not abused physically, it therefore means the man does not love her. So she does all she can for the man to abuse her physically. That's punch her lights out before she feels love. But for other ladies, they don't like that. They won't like such a behavior. So it differs. But what one should look for, basically, there's also a basic thing you should look for in every man. Or when it comes to men, the first thing you should look for is, does he have the ability to carry himself and then you? Does he have the ability to carry himself and then you? Because the thing is, when we look at the Bible said the first thing that was provided for Adam was a work, was job. The Bible said God created animals, brought for him, told him to tend to the garden before Eve came. So the first thing first you should look out for, does he have a job? Does he have a work? Does he have something he's doing? I'm not talking about how much that thing brings. That job might not bring a lot, but things do change and circumstances changes. So does he have a job he's doing? And if he has a job, can that job take care of him? Talk less of taking care of one more person. That's the first thing first. And the second thing you should look out for, if you are talking about what to look out for before you talk about conjugal bliss or marital bliss or whatever, you should also look out for, does he have a place where he lays his head, where he sleeps? Does he have an apartment that he has rented? Because if he gets married to you, where is he taking you to? The mom's basement or the dad's basement? So where are you going to? Or are you going to be crashing from one friend's apartment to the other? So first of all, he must have a job, and secondly, he must have a place where he lays his head. It does not have to be a mansion or what have you. You just have to have a place where he can take you to, that he pays rent for. That's secondly. And thirdly, what you should look out for. Please, I'm not listing them based on importance. So I'm just listing them. Thirdly, what you should look out for, if you are somebody that is a Christian and it matters to you a lot, the fear of God. Because the Bible said the fear of God will make you to eschew evil. The fear of God makes a man to eschew evil. That means before he punches you, you first of all regard God and what God will say or feel about that. Before he goes out to cheat on you, he will realize that there's an eye up there that you can't shut, although his wife is not there with him, but the eye is forever present and watching. So the third thing I would say is, does he have the fear of God? Does he have the spiritual authority sense that yes, there is a spiritual authority over me? Actually, these are the three basic things, first of all, that you must look out for in a man. And lastly, does it belong to a family unit? Now, people don't understand when you say, does it belong to a family unit, or what it means or how important it is. A man is taught how to be a man in a family unit. He learns how to be a man in a family. And if he belongs to a family unit, how is his upbringing? What role? How is his father per se? Because every man do end up becoming their father. Is the truth. Apples don't fall far from the tree.
True.
Who taught him to be a man? Who is that person that taught him to be a man? Who is that person that lectured him? Was he lectured in a home? Or he was just out there and swallowed whatever that came his way? So because a guy that is left to tend to himself.
Yes.
So a guy that is left to tend to himself, to be an alpha and omega of himself, will be exposed to different information of what it means to be a man. And at the end of the day, you might have somebody who has clashing informations in his mind, and then we use you as experiment. He will experiment with you on what it means to be a real man. And then at the end of the day, you have a lot of scars that you shouldn't even have. Why? He used you to learn what it means to be a man. And maybe when you people are, if you are married, when you people are 80s or 90s, that's when he would have learned his lesson of what it means to be a man. And you are already scarred all over. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Excellent,
much.
McPherson.
Thank you, McPherson. Wow.
Thank you, McPherson, because that is so true. I agree with
Thank
what
you
you
very
said.
much.
So, Chris, do you have, would you like to weigh in on that question?
Yeah, but before I do, one more time, really quick, what was the question again?
Okay, let me go back up. Sister Lillian. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Here it is. So the question was, what should a man or woman look out for in a spouse before conjugal bliss?
I would, I would agree with what McPherson said, but also the number one thing should be, does he have a relationship with God? Because if you don't have a relationship with the Creator, how you gonna know how to love His creation? Gotta know how to do that. Now, of course, yeah, you gotta have a job. Gotta be able to provide. So I would just agree on those two same points.
Those okay. I wanted to say something. I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget, but I've never heard it like the way Brother McPherson put it, where he said how being a part of the family. And I would have to say that is so true because a lot of, and this is from hearing other men say this, where they didn't really have a father figure, and it don't necessarily have to be the father, because it could be maybe they had a stepfather, maybe they had an uncle or someone, but just a male figure to help them. And something he said that I really want everyone to pay attention to. Excuse me. He said, when that is lacking in a man's life, and if I'm incorrect, please correct me, Brother McPherson, you said he would end up experimenting on you. And then you end up with scars unnecessarily. Just think about that. That is really like, wow. And like he said, they may not get it until, I mean, I'm thinking like, wow, till he's 90, whatever. I know that's an exaggeration of saying it may not be till a long time. And yet he's experimenting on you. And who wants to be experimented on? Because as you're being experimented on, yes, there's a lot. Okay, somebody needs to mute. Let me see. Um, there, yeah, there is a lot of, like how Brother McPherson mentioned, a lot of unnecessary scars. And wow, that is, I just wanted to pinpoint that out, that part. So I would say we have, that's a good one. I want to go through the chat to make sure that way I'm getting, hopefully have gotten everybody's question. And oh, Sister Rita, well, let me see. Yes, I don't want to. I apologize for that. Do you have any input on that as well?
Sorry, Tanya, did you call me?
I did. I said, did you have any input on the last question? It says, what should a man or woman look out for in a spouse before conjugal bliss?
Okay, I heard what Chris and Max said, and yeah, I think the first thing is this person I want to spend the rest of my life with mirrors God. Is a reflection of what God says it should be. And then it provides maximum security. No woman wants to be with a man who doesn't provide you with security. I should feel safe and secure when I'm with you. Yes. And is a provider, is emotionally stable, yes, and aware.
because apart from the person being a Christian or reflects what God is, there are also other aspects that every individual should work on themselves. Should be that self-aware, should be self-regulated, should be emotionally mature, and be able to handle the family. Because being a believer is not enough. You should be able to acquire skills that will keep you going while in the marriage, while building a home. You should be willing to learn along the way and unlearn, and to love in different ways possible. So I think they've already said things like that. So yes, thank you.
Sorry, Sister Tanya. Sorry,
Yeah.
can I quickly say something?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
When I spoke from a woman's perspective. That means what a woman should look for. Quickly, I want to quickly say something about what a man should look for. Sorry, I just quickly want to give it to, because she said in the aspect of men and women, right?
Yes.
So I spoke about what a woman should look for in a man. 3 basic things that a woman should look for in a man. But I think the first basic thing that a man should look for in a woman, because nowadays a lot of women are hungry. You have a lot of hungry ladies out there that are looking for already made people or men who have paid the sacrifices and laid their lives down, and they've done a lot of work to bring themselves to where they are. There are a lot of hungry women out there looking for such men to sink their teeth into. First of all, don't marry a hungry woman. As in, when I say a hungry woman, because hungry women, they have nothing working for them. They are of age, but they've never done anything meaningful with their hands. All they think life is all about is their face, how pretty their face look, and how skimpy their dress can get, and whoever they want to seize their attention when they come into the room, not because they are putting in meaningful work or they can bring in something tangible to the table, just because they think their face is an asset and then their body is an asset. These people, they are hungry people. They are nothing to write home about financially. They are emotionally bankrupt. Everything about them is zero. They can't raise your children. The greatest gift any woman can give a man is the children that you give that man. It's the children that you give that man, and then raising them into kings and queens. So at the end of the day, first thing first, don't marry a hungry woman. A hungry woman is that woman that has nothing working for her. She has never done anything with her hands, and she can't even do anything with her hands. When you give her anything, she can't multiply it, because the best wives are those that when you give her $1, she can think of 1,001 ways to multiply it. Women should be multipliers. Whatever you bring to the house, she multiplies it. If you have a little spark of favor, she turns it into an ocean or into something very big. Then whatever you earn at work, you bring it home. She's there to contribute. She has something upstairs, not those that are bankrupt mentally. So when so when you are looking for whom to marry, you should look for that lady who has actually understood what it means to work with the hands and what it means to be involved in a process. Let's look at the Bible. When you look at the story of Ruth and Naomi, Boaz was not even interested, was not even supposed to marry Ruth. Ruth was the daughter-in-law. Naomi was the mother-in-law. Boaz was not even interested, was not supposed, because when you read it down, you find out that Boaz made a recommendation on whom would have married Ruth, but the person turned it down. So at the end of the day, we get to realize that Ruth got married to Boaz because she did something with her hands. The Bible said she went to the field. The mother-in-law was already old. Ruth went to the field day in, day out, to pick things and all those stuff. That was where Boaz saw her. So what I'm saying is, a woman should be able to do something with her hands, be able to understand that she's a multiplier. Because a hungry lady cannot raise your kids, cannot do anything meaningful. Sorry, let me end with this. I think last week, a family passed me on the way. As in, when they walked past me, I turned to look at them. And then I just shook my head. I said, I don't blame these people. I blame the man who didn't regard the seed in his loins. Who didn't regard the seeds in his loins and went to marry such a woman. Why did I say that? All the children, you could see the influence of that lady on all the children. Their hairs were colored. Their dresses were skimpy. the way they were, and the woman actually, she dressed them the way she was dressed. So you could see her influence on them. So I said, I blame the man that didn't regard his seeds that were in his loins and went to marry such woman. Thank you very much. So who should you marry? Marry a woman that is a multiplier.
Wow. That was really good. That was really good. That made me think about something I heard Miles Monroe say. I think it was him. And he said, give a lady a seed, she's going to give you a baby. Give her a house, she's going to make it a home. Give her food, she's going to cook you a meal. And I was just like, wow. And so a lot of what you were saying, it made me think about that. And so, yeah, that was really good. That was really good. McPherson, that was really good. This was a question by our sister Rosie. I don't know if she's still here with us, but I don't want to overskip it. So I'm still here. I've been, okay, but I want to say this. I divorced my first husband because he wouldn't stop laying with other women, but it has always bothered me that I'm divorced and now remarried. I think that was the other part, and remarried. So what do we want to say on, can we weigh in on this, please?
I will stay quiet because that is not something I can talk on.
Right. Okay. What about you, McPherson? Can you weigh in on this?
Sorry, I did get the question. I'm trying to look for it in the comment section.
Okay, I have it posted up. It says, I divorced my first husband because he wouldn't stop laying with other women, but it has always bothered me that I'm divorced and now remarried.
Okay, first of all, that was why I was asking our sister if marriage is a life sentence. Now, first of all, we realize that marriage is a vow taken between two people to be faithful to each other. And the Bible spoke about the bed undefiled, that is before marriage, right? Now, both of you comes into marriage, and we know that the Bible does not cite adultery. And if the Bible is not for adultery, the Bible is against adultery, then they came on to Jesus and said to him, can we put away our wives for any cause? That's where the any cause law came. Because after Moses came up with the bill of divorce, because he saw the abuse that was going on in divorce, these people modulated it into having any cause. That means a lady you can just get married and then she becomes a bit fat, then you just put her aside. So they came to Christ and said, can we put away our wives for any cause? The any cause came in. And then Christ told them, no, you can't, save for adultery, except for adultery, you can't put away your wife. So if this lady is saying that I left my husband because he was in a streak of sleeping around and dating everybody, and you've not been at peace for doing that. Now the question is this, are you not at peace because you are still attached to the first marriage, because you only left because he was dating somebody, not because you actually fell out of love with him? You just left because of the circumstances. Or you are not at peace because you feel that you've done something wrong for leaving him, for cheating on you. So notwithstanding, you must realize that if you are not at peace because you are feeling like you did something wrong or you committed a sin by divorcing him, then you should be at peace because you divorced him for the right reasons, which is adultery. And please note, ladies don't understand why they should walk away when their spouse is sleeping around. Let me tell you why. Years ago, I think 2018 or thereabout? I think 2018 or thereabout. I worked in an hospital, and one fateful day, a lady came in. When the lady came in, she was so frantic. She was looking somehow because she was panicking. And then she said she wanted to go for HIV test. And then we said, okay. So we did everything. She sat down. Before we could even start conducting the test, the husband called. Hello, have they done? Have they done it? This, the woman will say, relax, they've not done the test. We're about to carry out the test. I think every minute the husband was calling in and all those stuff, you would mistake his call to be a sign of concern or affection, or he wants to show that. So that was what we were thinking. So after we were done with the test, hours later, we were done with the test. We came up with the result and told her, we took her to one side, and then we said to her that the test came out positive, that she was HIV positive. Immediately we said that this woman broke down in tears. And the next thing that came out of her mouth was, this man has killed me. This man has killed me. That means she wasn't cheating. She knew the man was cheating, and then she stayed in the marriage. And now she is now HIV positive. The man already knew that he's HIV positive. He never told her. So that was why he was calling over and over and over and over again to find out if she is positive. So no, and then the man called in. That was when the woman went ballistic on him. So it is not only scriptural that you should break up with an idolatrous husband. It is also good, and it has a lot of head benefit. You save yourself if you break up with such person, except you want to die young. And my mom has a relative which she told us about. The man was philanthropist, sleeping all around. The woman wasn't. As I speak to you, the woman is dead. The man is still alive. The woman died from HIV. The woman did not know, so she was treating all kinds of taking all kinds of drugs, not knowing that she has been infected with HIV by the husband. It had gotten critical before she knew what she had. The man is still alive, but the woman is gone. So you're not only doing it because it's biblical, you're also doing it to save yourself. Thank you.
Wow.
Wow. Look, I'm like, you're wow.
That
That is
was,
so true.
Thank you. My God.
That is so
that,
true.
oh, and I want to say to Rosie, if you are still here, I'm not sure if you are, but I would like to recommend, Rosie, that you go and look at it. Is one of the lives that I did. It was called Heart to Heart Conversation with Elmo, and part one, she talks about her marriage and what occurred in that, and just and how God worked through that with her. And she talks a little bit about it in part two, but I would suggest looking at part one. And I just want to say this: how you mentioned about your feelings and how you were feeling. Well, I think that's normal. I would think that that is normal, to feel the way that you're feeling. And even Elmo, she mentioned that she, along with the Bible, with good counsel, and from the church, from good solid people, from the church, and then actually like a Christian counselor, that was something that helped her. And she said there's still a healing, that she's still like going through and being authentic. So I just want to mention that, because we can be so easy to say you should just be over it, you should just whatnot. And it's just from talking with others who've been there, it's not that easy. But yes, there are others who have gone through that, and I just wanted to mention that to you. Yeah, yes.
Um, oh, I just wanted to kind of take you back in time a little bit. Remember when I guess we can say his name, Magic Johnson. Remember when he came down with the HIV?
Yes.
I used to work for a doctor's office, and I'm thankful for McPherson to say what he said, because it's true. and we don't think about our own health and safety, because of love of someone or because you just don't know, you're walking free. But I remember when he got that HIV, I used to work for a doctor's office and I had a guy come in. And so we were to offer them the HIV test. And what he said to me, he says, I don't want to know. I'm like, you don't want to know? He says, I said, but what if he says, so be it. He says, I don't want to know what I got. So that means you running around and kill people along the way. And it was one of the scariest things I've heard anybody say. It was like he's really mad at himself for whatever he got. So I'm just going to take as many out with me as I can. And it's like, okay, you know what? If I was to catch something, that's my fault for doing what I was, running free or whatever. I'm not gonna go and try to get it to everybody, and then so they can suffer along with me. And it's just like, but the thing that's so different is, we can say, yeah, God said, but nobody is teaching God said to none of the younger people, and it's the younger ones who are the ones that are coming up with no knowledge of what to do and how to handle themselves and say no. And because you got your friends who are telling you it's fun. And it's fun is what got me into acting up. And then to come find out it wasn't fun. So I'm like, and I always, people laugh at me when I say this. My whole thing when I was younger was, I'm going to be a virgin for a long time. I ain't trying to get married, and I don't want to have kids. I'm not out there trying to do anything. But when nobody tells you anything about, if this is the way you're going to be, then you need this. Nobody told me about God. Nobody gave me any good advice. So guess what? You get a friend who comes along who gets into your head that this is a wonderful thing. And so peer pressure come along. You do the thing you didn't want to do. And you find out it's not all roses. Let's just say that. And I told her, I said, if I knew not to listen to you, I'd be a 56-year-old virgin. I would have traveled. I would have did all kind of stuff. But no, I had to listen. But that's what not knowing with these little kids now, that they don't have nobody. Because now everybody is under a new agenda now. Nobody want to talk God. We all want to talk all this other stuff. Let's be this and let's be that. No, these poor kids know they're lost. If they don't have nobody to show them the way, they are lost in all kinds of aspects of their relationship. But McPherson, I appreciate what you said, because that is so true. And them are things that I wish I knew. I wish I knew.
Wow.
But yeah.
This has been, yes. I'm just going through, if anyone else would like to have any, I'm just going through our comment section. I'm just going through, if anyone else.
I have a question.
Would like to have any, I'm just going through our comment section.
I have a question.
Okay, I think there's an echo, Sister Layla, in the background.
Oh
Okay.
gosh, I have it on my TV too. Sorry, guys.
Okay, that's okay. Okay.
Is there an echo now?
No.
Okay, that's because I have you guys on my TV and my phone. StreamYard is on my phone. My TV is just watching everybody in the chat. But I wanted to ask a question to Pastor McPherson. First of all, I give honor to God. I thank God for him being here and your transparency and your stories. They are so powerful. Where do you preach at? Where are you from? Where are you? Pastor McPherson.
Are you frozen? Are you frozen, McPherson? I don't want to speak. Okay, there you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I
Yes.
can hear you.
Okay. I'm a Nigerian in Nigeria. When it comes
Okay,
to
okay.
when it comes to preaching, fire notes. I being a pastor, I turned down all the invitations to be one. The reason being that I don't think one needs a title to do what is supposed or what is called to do.
Hallelujah.
So I was
Absolutely.
given
I
the form.
totally
I was
agree.
given the form severally, and I returned it. Fire notes.
I absolutely agree with you. So my question for you is, because I don't believe in titles, they're not of God. I just don't. Everybody that puts titles in front of their names, that becomes their God. So it's like a form of idolatry. The question I have for you is, I have been in a relationship. Thank God, God delivered me. But I was living in sin, of course, and we were fiance, we were engaged. But that was powerful what you said about the scars and how if that man was not raised with family value and God first, they will oftentimes repeat the cycles of their father. So as I was in the relationship, now everything is being revealed. Now that I'm out of the relationship, I kind of seen things and I just turned a blind eye to it due to the fact that I thought me, as they say in the Bible, a sanctified woman, she sanctifies her husband, right? So I'm engaged thinking that this is my husband, but that was not the case. So I have children out of that relationship. And my question is, my son is now 19 years old, and I see the same patterns. How do I, not even me, because I don't think I can do it. Like women they can't raise men to be the men that God desired them to be. I just honestly don't believe that. We are not wired the same way as men. So they need a man of valor. They need a man that can instruct them, like you said, and teach them values and guidance. So as a mother who's yet praying for her son, what would be my directive or your directive for my 19-year-old who is now trying to figure everything out because his father and I are not together and will never be, but 14 years old, he left him and he has not looked back. So what would be your suggestion?
Okay. It's simple. Now, this was what happened. After I graduated from school, let me explain what you are to do. It's very simple. After I graduated from school, I took up a teaching job. And in that teaching job, I came across a guy who was not having a dad or a mom. This was 2018, after I graduated from the university. So he doesn't have a dad, doesn't have a mom. He was staying with an uncle. And the uncle was prompting him to become a fraudster. That is, all these internet scammers that scam people out of their hard-earned money. So one day he approached me and then he said, this is what is going on. No, he approached me and said, I would like you to take me to be my mentor. And when he told me that, I didn't actually, because he was the first person to tell me that, I didn't actually understood what it meant. I never knew that he was asking me to come into his journey and be the voice that guides him. Because at that time, his dad was late and his mom was living in the village, was not living with them, he was living with his uncle. So when he brought to me what his uncle was trying to do to him, so what I'm trying to say with this was, I became a voice since then, since 2018. And I can tell you that since 2018, how many years has it been? I left that school after then. I went to a bank and then went to the hospital to work, went to a bank to work. Now I'm self-employed. Since 2018 up to date, that guy still keeps in touch. If he wants to do anything, he calls me up. Sometimes he comes to my house and he's better for it. He's an impeccable young man. As in, most times I tell him, I said, I'm proud of you. This is what you have become. So what I'm trying to tell you is this. If there is no father figure to guide him, what you would do is, listen, this is the truth. Women cannot raise men to become the good men that they should be. This is what you should do for him. Look for a man that you think would make a good role model, and then point your son towards him. Help your son to come in contact with that person, and do all you can for your son to come under his tutelage. That man will raise him. I'm not talking about dating somebody that will raise him. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about if you live in a locality, definitely you know, okay, this person, this is how this person is, and this is how he's going, this is what he's doing. Then make sure your son comes under that tutelage for him to tutor your son into becoming the man that he is. And I tell you to work.
Okay,
hello, do you get what I said?
Yes, I absolutely hear you.
And the person I'm talking about can be a brother to you, can be your brother that you know that, this my brother is doing well. As in financially, morally, he's upright. So I think my son should come under this authority. So it is a man's voice that speaks manlyhood, right manlyhood into a young guy's life or into a son's life. Not the other way around. A woman cannot do it, because we men, we can easily take our mother's words for granted, or a woman's words for granted when they are trying to shape us. It is the men. Chris Rock, the popular comedian, said, up to date, I don't smoke. Because if I want to smoke, I still feel like my father is going to walk into the room and spank the hell out of me. As grown as he is, that's what he's still saying. So it is men that has that, the attribute to be able to shape a fellow man into what it should be. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Wow.
That's a good, that was good.
Yeah.
That was good. And that's why I feel so sad for my son, because he doesn't have that man figure. And his father, or his dad, who I thought would have been the one to teach him, was the one who did a lot of wrong to him. And it's kind of bad when the one who is your dad, I don't want to say father because we only got one father, who is your dad, the one you're supposed to teach your child how to be a man, is the one who's teaching your child how to mess over, if he ever has kids. You know, sometimes they say, and I pray that it doesn't go down the chain, but, you know, and I pray for my son, but who has he got to look up to? His dad, who did him wrong. So is he, and I pray that he don't take it to, if he ever finds him a wife and kids, that he doesn't do that to them too. So yeah, it's good if you have a that type of, see, we talking about, I guess, godly men, let's just say that. Okay, so me, I'm coming from an ungodly world, who before I actually gave my life to Christ. So everything after I gave my life to Christ, you know, and I see things in a different way, but it was too late to put that onto my son, because I wasn't that way back then. And his dad wasn't that way either, still isn't. So, you know, it's a different thing if you are talking to about a godly man, you know, and what he should do. But when you're talking about a man in sin, then what is he going to teach his son? You know, I mean, I'm not saying he couldn't teach him the right way, but it didn't go that way.
I was going to say 2%. I don't know if you have, it's out actually on video now. But The Forge, I know you've heard about The Forge. Can't hear you.
I'm doing your thing. No, I heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
Okay, I saw it, and I know Marlon Brown, Mr. Brown, did a review, and actually me and Shireen and another YouTube creator, we did a review of it. I would really recommend to watch The Forge. I don't know if he would watch it with you, but one of the things I got from that is it was a young man, young teenager, maybe in his later teens, and he was being raised by his mom, and the father had left the home, etc. And so there was uh, this guy who, part of his mission, he felt, and why he felt compelled to do what he did, is he had a son, and I don't want to give it away, but and so he was just somebody who owned a business, and the young teenager, later teen, ended up getting a job there, and just how he mentored him. So back to the point, like, yes, it would be great if it would come through the father, but God knows. And I would just suggest to pray and ask God to help open that door where someone could come in and to help and to mentor, because that is your heart cry for that. That is a good thing. It's not too late. So that's what I would suggest. It doesn't have to always come through the actual father. It can come through a mentor. It can come through, someone else. So I would suggest that. But the movie The Forge, maybe you even may want to just watch it yourself. You can
Yeah,
get
I'm gonna watch that.
this out on Netflix. This out on, and it's a really good movie. A really good movie.
Yeah, and I pray that, because I know a lot of times we don't hear our family, but if somebody on the outside came, you hear them more than you do the ones that you're with sometimes. And I know that's what's going to have to happen for on my side. It's going to have to be somebody else, and I pray that somebody else come. But and I pray that it's not too late, because my son is 26 now, and things are still happening on the bad side with his dad. And that's a whole nother story, though. That can go like a whole different route. But I pray the Lord brings somebody to him, because if he doesn't want to listen to me because he has anger with me too, then somebody else he may listen to. So I pray that happens. I keep that in prayer, and if it happens, only God knows. So I just believe in praying and believing that it will happen.
Mm. Yes, yes, I believe that it can. I really do. I'm just looking through the comment section, because I want to really make sure we honor that. If anyone has left any questions, this isn't a question, but as I'm still scrolling too, um, let me see. I'm just going through. Um, so we can get ready to round off. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited for those who will hear this um, later. And I'm just, this was a very good live. I believe a lot of people will be helped, as well as ourselves. So as I'm still looking, I'm almost, I would like, if there's a lot of content creators here, and I want to be able to, for them to share also what they are doing, and post in the comment section how they can be also contacted. So I think it's important for us to help and to support each other in this space. So, Mr. Chris, can you talk about your channel and put in the comment section?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube. My handle is Honest Conversations with Chris, which is me. And my channel's a little bit different than other people, but I'm going to be communicating with folks. Eventually, I'm going to start bringing people on. We're going to have some conversations, I'll be able to pray with some people, read some Bible verses. You might even see me in the kitchen cooking. Just depends. It's going to be, it's a mix of different things. So, and I'm going to share now my channel in the chat. So look out for that momentarily.
Okay, thank you. And McPherson?
Okay, my channel on YouTube is Wisdom Speaks Africa. Wisdom Speaks Africa. And what I do on the channel is I talk about relationship related issues and things that borders on Africa and Pan-Africa dream, including freedom from neo-colonialism and others. So I do a lot on my channel, but notwithstanding, although I'm still in between, I'm still trying to like do more as far as relationship issues are concerned. Thank you.
Oh, and with that being spoken, our brother is writing a book, and it's going to be on relationships. So we definitely will be having him back on, and we'll be promoting his book and talking about it and questions. So I'm excited for this book to drop. So putting the pressure on him. Got to get it done before this year is out, brother.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
So yes. Okay. Oh, sorry.
No, it's just a quick one. It's just a quick one. McPherson, is it Wisdom Speaks Africa or African?
Wisdom Speaks Africa.
Africa.
The speak has an X. Wisdom Speaks Africa.
Okay, I was just wondering because I'm looking it up and I'm trying to find, is it your face I would see?
Yeah.
Okay. 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 I don't know if I'm spelling it wrong or what.
Let's see, Rita, do you have a channel or do you have a podcast?
Okay, no, I don't have a channel, not a podcast, but I do have from time to time webinars where I talk about youth policy and development. But that's on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. So those are just my channels for now. Thank you.
Okay.
So I think you can check me out on LinkedIn. Just my phone name, Brita is your match.
I found it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And 2%.
Yes.
So
Wake up.
do you have anything like maybe where people can hear from you or you
Right here. I have a channel, but it's not in use. I haven't used it in years. There's nothing on it that's so. If I come on, then you'll see me here.
Okay. Okay.
I can't keep up with YouTube's demand, so.
Okay. Okay. Well, we know in the chat we do have our sister at the heart of the conversation. So she has her channel, Sister Shireen. She's my moderator, one of my moderators, and thank you so much, sis, for being here. And Chris doing kind of double duty. He was on the channel, and he's one of my moderators, and Miss Rosie Red as well. She is one of my moderators, and so thankful. Thank you, and to everyone, to Lisa. Some people may already have left, but to Rosie, to Stacy, Connie, Layla, gosh, 2%, Pastor Wealth. I'm sure it was his network that got him kicked out. Brother McPherson, Rita, to Offlong, who had to leave, to, I hope I didn't miss anybody, but Lillian, I do want to send out a shout out to Miss Lillian. she helped. She was a big help with helping to help me with getting things coordinated and etc. So a big shout out to her as well, and to all those who are in the eye. That's my new thing, to the ones in the eye, the ones who are watching and they're not in the comment section. Thank you so much.
You got
And
Layla too, right?
I
That was up there.
did I if I didn't mention Layla, I
No,
do.
you might have. I'm just making sure.
No, I can't give enough shout outs. Thank you, Layla, for coming on. Thank you for seeing your beautiful face. It's nice to put a picture, a face to the name. So thank you, Layla, and the things that you contributed and said. So please share this video, and we will be doing a part 2. We don't want it to let it be too long in between. Maybe in another week, I would say we will come live again for part 2, because we have a lot of questions and some to go back and visit. I made note of that. And let me see. Somebody said, yes, she did make mention. Okay. So with that said, with everyone, I know Chris and McPherson, we'll see you all a little later because we have another live.
Yeah.
So McPherson.
I need some coffee.
Sorry, McPherson. That's with you, there is if you can, because so I'll just, I understand. I understand.
I will.
What time is it in Africa? He's in Africa, right?
Yes. So it's like,
what time is it there?
It's 10:48.
10:48.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
a.m. in the morning.
No,
Okay.
p.m.
Oh, p.m. Oh, ooh.
Yeah. So yes.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh
wow.
no, you
8 hours.
didn't,
Okay.
Rosie. I spoke plenty with time. Oh, okay. I just want to make sure I saw something from Rosie.
Rosie, you'll hear more from me later. Like I'm measuring what I say. So
with that being said, I want to say until next time.
Okay.
Wait, 1 Corinthians 10:31. Whether ye
Thanks,
eat,
everybody.
whether ye eat, whether ye drink, whatever you do, do all unto the glory and honor of God. Shalom, happy Sabbath, and God bless. Bye.
Okay, see you guys later.